Hey, what is going on? Luke Hart here. We are going to be doing something really cool tonight. We're going to be creating a D&D adventure together. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to pop over here and see who we all got going on here. Anybody here? Is anybody here? Nobody yet. You'll come eventually. Hey, so if you are catching this on the replay, what I want to tell you is, so we're going to be doing lots of different things tonight. We are going to be walking through a template that I have and just kind of filling it out as we go. And when we get done at the very end of it, we are going to put it all on, I'm going to put it in a downloadable file so you guys can all catch it and use it and all that good stuff. And we're going to be walking through a template. I'm going to just show you kind of what we're going to be doing here. Let's see. This is the template that we're going to be filling out tonight. And what I'm going to do too is we're just going to walk through this thing, filling this out, creating an adventure together. And when we get done, I mean, we're going to end up with something pretty cool looking. Let me find an example of what we are going to end up with for you all. I'm going to pick something here and it'll probably load for us. When we get done, we'll have something that looks kind of like this. It'll be a fully fleshed out adventure. It is going to have descriptive text. It's going to be, you know, sometimes we might do read aloud text, and we'll be describing different things and whatnot. And we're just going to we're going to end up with something pretty legitimate, I hope, by the time we're done tonight. And so that's kind of an example of that. Now, if you're catching us on the replay, once I get done with this, I'll probably go back through and add some timestamps to different parts of the adventure down below in the description, just to make it easier for you guys to kind of navigate what we're doing here. We are going to, I have a few parameters in mind, and that's down in the description as well. We are going to be including some evil gnomes, some corrupted gnomes in this adventure, and I kind of imagine they're going to be like throwing like potions that do various effects, possibly exploding and stuff like that. We're going to be creating a bunch of loot for the adventure. We'll be using the DMGs, random tables for that. And we're going to create some NPCs possibly for the adventure, and we'll be doing some map making as well for the adventure. So all of that sorts of stuff will be down in the description for you guys to find. It looks like we got some people on. Let's see who has joined us. Swan Master Flecks, what is going on? How are you? And Sleeping oops, that's the wrong button. Sleeping Shaman is on, and Almadine, Dragonfire, and Fort Soul Zero. How's it going, guys? I'm glad you could join us. We're going to be creating a D&D adventure tonight, so that'll be fun. Now, before I started the live stream, my wife told me that I need to drink less coffee tonight and take small sips. So we'll see how that goes. I can't promise anything. So what I kind of had envisioned for tonight is that we could kind of do this together cooperatively, right? Like, I really want to create this together, like with you guys giving me ideas and whatnot as we kind of just work through this thing. Like I said, I have a few parameters in mind. This is going to be for my Wonder Panda campaign that I run at work with some coworkers. We have a weekly game every Thursday that we get together over lunch, just like an hour. And the next thing that they are going to be going into is some evil corrupted gnomes. And so that's kind of what we're going to be working on tonight. We Write Weird Stuff, what is going on? Good to see you, man. So We Write Weird Stuff he's one of my patrons, actually. Thanks, man, for the support. And he's also one of my players. And so he is going to be helping us out tonight, write an adventure for a game that he's probably going to play in at some point. So that'll be fun. All right, what we got going on? Let me show. I'm going to pull up the adventure here. Oh, no, you don't want to miss this one, dude. Do not want to miss this one. All right, here we go. So this is all I got. I got a blank template, right? And I want to start filling this thing out. Now, we know we're going to have gnomes, so I'm going to pull up, and like I said to all these other guys, yes, the gnome guerrilla cave warfare. Yeah, there could be caves, absolutely. I don't have a whole lot in mind for a map at this point. I know that the gnomes live in like a gnome village, so they're like, imagine like Hobbitville or something from Tolkien, right? Where they live in these kind of like underground homes and stuff, like hills with like doors in the side of them or something. That's kind of all I had envisioned You know, so we'll create some maps. They might have caves. We might do an underground area that the gnomes have or created or something. So we could go through the Underhills. Yeah, what I wanted to do is I wanted to pull up the Dungeon Master Guide. Stand by. Let me find this bad boy here. Because what I want to do is I just want to get... I wonder if there are gnomes in the Dungeon Master Guide. I wonder if it has... I don't know that it has any gnomes or anything in it. So we might just be picking something from the end of it and just refitting it to be a gnome. So let me find this bad boy. 5e material, the rule books, and then not the Dungeon Master Guide, the Monster Manual. That's where we're going to find monsters in the Monster Manual. So let me pull this guy up. Because I don't know what we're going to see. So right here we just have some commoners and stuff like that. What do you guys think we should use? Like, if we're going to have gnomes, like evil gnomes, we should... I'm just trying to think about like what monster stat block we should use for them. I mean, we could repurpose anything, right? There doesn't have to be a gnome, right? We could pick a commoner and call that the gnome. We could use the cultist as the gnome. Oh, one parameter that I think is important to note as well is that this is for a level 4 party. These are level 4 PCs. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do something real quick here so that I want to make sure that people stand by. I want to make sure that people joining us know that this is for a level 4 party, and I did not put that in the parameters, so I'm just going to add that real quick here. Sorry guys, stand by. This is the beauty of live, right? The adventure should include the following. It's a level 4. Let's see. The level 4 adventure. There we go. The level 4 adventure should include the following. Bam. All right, sweetness. There we go. Changes are being saved. Awesome. Rock and roll. Let's go back to our adventure template. And I think we were looking at the monster manual. I need to get the chat up here so that I can see. Oh, we got some more people coming on. Sweetness, sweetness. We got Philip. What's going on, man? And 4 Elemental is here. What's going on, man? 4 Elemental wants to use the Tarrasque stat block. I don't know. Let's just take a look here. The Tarrasque is yeah, that's a CR 30. I'm not sure that's gonna work for tonight's adventure, considering that we're doing it for level 4s. But Sleeping Shaman says add Imperial Germany aesthetics for flavor. That has something to do with something. I don't know. I must have missed something. Oh, I'm getting behind on chat. Steampunkshire. You know, I don't know about... Well, steampunk, that's interesting. They are gnomes. So they could have some sort of mechanical contraption. That's totally within the realm of possibility. Absolutely. I'm just trying to find like some sort of base stat block that we could use for our basic gnomes. Assassins, bandits. I mean, this is pretty... We just, basically what we need, all we need, guys, is just, the gnomes themselves are not going to be, like, super challenging or difficult. In fact, part of what I want to do here is these gnomes were corrupted at some point. And let's go in here to our template, and we should probably put this, this is the template that I use for all the adventures that I create, and we should probably put this into the storyline. So we will type this into the storyline. The gnomes were corrupted by mysterious black flecks, and so they are evil currently, but we're not always so. So part of what I want to do here is the PCs are going to come upon this gnome village that has been corrupted, and all the gnomes are evil, and they're going haywire, and they're, you know, murderous and whatnot. So part of the challenge here that I want to do is that it isn't just slaughter all of the gnomes, but the PCs should realize, that they will realize and recognize that they weren't always evil. The PCs already know that. They know about this village. So this village is called Round Hill, actually. Let's type that in. Round Hill. And this is our gnome village. Bam. And I have some information about Round Hill, and The reason, actually, let me pull this up. Let me go into OneNote, and I will pull this up because there's actually a reason. We already know that these guys are not evil. Stand by. That's not the right one. Where's the right one? Dun 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 dun. Wood of sharp teeth. There we go. And Roundhill. All right, so I already have some information. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit so you all can see that. And I don't have a... Where's my scroll bar? Dang it. Stand by. There it is. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see. All right. Hey, what's going on, Tony? How's it going, man? Glad you could join us. This is some basic information about Roundhill. So the leader of Roundhill is Rundledor Muncher. So these are just a couple of NPCs I already have made up just because this is part of my ongoing campaign at work, and I have already done some homework on this. So this is going to be one of our NPCs, and so this is a basic thing I do, guys. Is when I'm creating the adventure, at the very beginning of it, in the actual notes that I'm going to print off and take with me to my game, I'm going to have a lot of high-level information on like the very first couple of pages, the locations where things happen, what the storyline is, any notes that I want to put up here, and then the names of NPCs. And I put this all here for easy reference so that during the adventure, if one of these guys comes up, I have a description, I have names, I have all the good information. I don't know how many of you have like run official published modules, but it's pretty common, it seems to me, to find reference of an NPC and then not know where in the module you can actually find information about the NPC. Now, a lot of them have like NPCs in the very, very back in the appendix and you can find them, but not all NPCs are there. And so what I like to do when I'm creating the adventure is all the NPCs that are going to be in the adventure, all the named NPCs that I plan in advance are going to be at the very beginning. So that's why I put these here. This is to help me run my game better and more easily. I put this stuff all at the very beginning. So let's do that. Let's get this guy up here. Bam. Rundledor Muncher. There we go. Bam. That's the one NPC. Tesla gnomes. I'm just looking at chat. I will glance at chat here every so often. Because I want to do this interactively, right? And so I got to kind of pay attention to chat too to see. Four Elemental says, I wish you were my DM. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Someday, I mean, it would be awesome to just do some one-shot games online, with some of you guys. I would love to do that. That would be tons of fun. So, Puddin' Pop. John, Puddin' Pop will be here. Definitely. Mechanist Gnomes. Awesome. All right, let's keep going here. 40K D&D crossover event. I don't know what that means. Is that Warhammer or something? I don't know. Anyway, let's go back. I had one more NPC that I wanted to put here. Piddin Pop Greenfeet is our other NPC. So I'm gonna copy this stuff here. Bam. There we go. And we will. I'm gonna do a fancy thing here. I'm gonna just paste the text. Oh, it didn't work. That's junk. All right. Anyway, I don't need all this formatting. Is the thing. Sorry, you have to bear with me as I fix. So by profession I am a writer. I'm a technical writer, and so like not having this stuff like look okay, is going to get on my nerves. So I just need to do a little bit of formatting there. It's going to make it easier for us anyway. Put some periods in here. There we go. All right, sweetness. So let me just give you an overview of these two NPCs. Now, this NPC here, Rundledor Muncher, he's the leader of Roundhill, community leader of Roundhill. He's a long white beard to the ankles, a high-pitched voice, but he talks slow. So sometimes I like to put little voice notes too. In here so that I just can be consistent when I'm role-playing the NPC. That helps a lot, especially when I have reoccurring NPCs, because Piddin Pop is a reoccurring NPC in my game, and if I role-play him a certain way one game session and then he doesn't come back for like 5 game sessions or more, maybe 10 game sessions, and like half a year has passed in real life, I like to have the notes of like, you know, how I did his voice, a rough notes. I don't know if my players would ever notice or, you know, if that much time passes, but it's just like a little thing that I like to do. So anyway, this is the community leader. Now, the PCs have never actually met this guy. I imagine that Rudaldor Muncher is probably going to be in the... He's going to have been infected, I think. He's going to be corrupted and whatnot. Now, the Pit and Pop Greenfeet he's the head alchemist, and I got to put a period there. And they're going to be the PCs are going to be traveling with Pit and Pop from a elven village down to Round Hill. So Pit and Pop is going to be with them when they come upon this gnome village that has been corrupted. So they're going to have actually there is a delegation with Pit and Pop that's going to be accompanying them. So I'm going to write that up here. So the PCs are the heroes. I call them the same thing. The heroes will travel from Lamelty. Now, Lamelty is the name of the elven village they're going to be coming from, to Round Hill with Pit and Pop and delegation of gnomes. Then they will discover the corrupted gnome village. They're corrupted. It should be their corrupted gnome village. There we go. So that's kind of like the basic story elements, the kind of the background going behind all of this. And the only reason that I'm just kind of like telling you guys how this is going to go down is that this is part of my ongoing campaign, right? And so there's some lead up stuff that's going to get us to the actual adventure. But once we get there, then I think everything is pretty much on the table, or off the table, or on the table, or anything goes, if that's the right way to do it. Let me see if I can get caught up on chat a little bit. Put and Pop has chirins. I don't know what chirins means, but it's Pit and Pop, by the way, John. The evil gnomes were corrupted by a sentient virus that changes your DNA into mechanics, metal. I mean, I think it is a sentient virus of sorts. So the way that the players originally came into contact with these black metal, or not black metal, but these like black flecks, is they were ridding the forest of a corruption at the time, and instead of destroying all of these black flecks, they kept the black flecks. And they had several jars of them. And they ended up taking these jars, and there was parts of some shenanigans they were doing, but they ended up corrupting 3 ogres with these black flecks. And then one of the ogres believes that he is a chosen one of his deity or something, and the other 2 ogres were worshiping that ogre. And so basically what's happening, that was something the players did a while ago, like maybe a week or so ago. And so the whole thing with the gnome village being corrupted is that I am taking the players' in-game actions and I am extrapolating consequences out across the game world. So when they come upon this gnome village that has been corrupted by these black flecks, the players will know that they're the ones responsible for it, because they're the ones that dumped out the black flecks and corrupted these ogres, and then didn't take care of the ogres. They just ran off and let the ogres be. And so now the ogres are spreading these black flecks, and more parts of this forest are being corrupted, and it's spreading, and the gnomes are now corrupted. And so this is kind of one of the things I like to do, where the players will make a decision, and then they'll just kind of go on their merry way and think nothing of it. And then I think of ways to make that decision have impact on the game world, right? And so that's kind of what's going on here. So it definitely is some sort of like, you know, virus or something like that. And I think these black flecks are probably sentient to some extent. So let's just add them as an NPC. So sentient black flecks. All right. Some sort of sentient virus. Sentient virus. Let's say that it corrupts. Let's say I kind of like the idea of it. I mean, it corrupts living things. That corrupts living things. So part of tonight is going to be us talking and me reading the chat and thinking about what we're going to do, and then I'm going to be typing it into this document, right? Because at the very end, I want to create this as a downloadable file that you guys can all grab and use and whatnot. So that's part of what we're doing tonight. So you have to bear with me. It's going to take a little bit longer for me to like type stuff out than if I were to just talk about it, right? But this way we have a record of it. And you have working in your favor that I'm not a horribly slow typer. Although I can't type quite as fast as I can talk. All right, sentient virus that corrupts living things. So, I mean, I don't mind the idea of slowly turning them into mechanical things. You know, I think that slowly turning flesh to metal, or I don't know. We can roll with that, you know. And so these, I mean, they're corrupting living things, right? They're turning them into non-living things. So turning them into metal. I mean, I think that's fine. Let's go with that. Let's just go with that. Boom. Thanks for Elemental for the idea. So Philip says rock gnomes or forest gnomes. I think they were forest gnomes because we are in a forest. But I think that rock gnomes are the ones that are more known for like alchemy and stuff. I don't know. I mean, this gnome village is definitely an alchemy thing. They got a bunch of alchemy stuff going on. So you guys let me know which types of gnomes are the ones known for alchemy, or neither of them, or whatever. It does not matter. It might not matter. But we definitely got one of those two types. And they are alchemists. So Round Hill is a gnome village known for alchemy. Let's throw that up there. I'll learn how to spell. There we go. Bam. Check this out. The name, so Pit and Pop Greenfeet, he has, so my players jokingly call Pit and Pop Pudding Pop. And so his family name, his wife is named Carly. His daughter, I just call the daughter Bimbo. It's funny, I used to live in Central America, and there is a type of bread down there. Like, the brand of the bread is called Bimbo. So I did not intend that to be an offensive term. I'm merely naming her daughter after bread. Anyway, and then his son's name is Piffin Dop. I'm trying to make funny names for these guys because my players enjoy that sort of thing and will have fun with it. So that's the intent here. So let me see. Can the players be corrupted? That is interesting. I like that idea, Philip. What would be the mechanic for the players becoming corrupted? That's interesting. So we got random encounters, inciting action. Let me do something here. Let me put a note here. Corruption mechanic. Could the players become corrupted? I don't know. They might. That's a possibility. I kind of like that idea. So one of the things we need to do tonight too, guys, is we need to decide what kinds of like potions, so one of the things that these gnomes are going to be doing is they're going to be flinging potions off the back of like creatures that they're going to be riding. And so these potions that they're flinging could have like stuff in it that will corrupt you. And so that's a good idea. Whoops, let's do something here. Gnomish potions. So the gnomish potions are going to be the potions that corrupt people. So let me do that right there. And we're going to have to come up with ideas of what these potions do, okay, at some point here. So we're just we're laying some groundwork. I guess we're laying out a big to-do list of things that we got to do for this adventure. So, hey Josh, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I'm glad you could join us. Hope you don't got us up on the big screen at work. Might get you in trouble. All right, so Almadine says, idea. What if these black flecks were some sort of ooze, like a parasite that was crystallized until touched, or come into contact with body heat or living matter that turns flesh into metal or stone? Yeah, that could work. Like, it's crystallized until touched. Yeah, I mean, the ooze, so I've already described the black flecks as like moving and stuff inside these jars. And like if they just drop onto the ground, the black flecks will like swarm toward living things. So I think they already have to be somewhat like moving and sentient just before they come into contact with anything. But I like the idea of them being a sort of ooze. In fact, that is an excellent. I think we just got one of our first monsters, guys. Let's pop over to the DMG and let's look at oozes. And let's see if we can pick out an appropriate ooze that would work. Okay, so Philip says rock gnomes are alchemist and tinkerer. Okay, so it sounds like we got rock gnomes, and I'm getting distracted. I'm going like one thing, I'm popping over to another. So it's a rock gnome village. So it's a rock gnome village known for alchemy. Bam, there we go. And then we were over here because we were going to look at oozes. And a black pudding. So this is not bad. A black pudding is a pretty good ooze. Now here's the thing though, the black flecks, like when they hit somebody, they're gonna corrupt that person, right? So if there were a big massive, bunch of black flecks that were to attack one of the PCs, then we wouldn't want it to just do damage necessarily. We would want it to like be trying to corrupt that NPC. And I kind of like this image actually. It shows this ogre, it looks like, being like consumed by this black pudding that's kind of like rolling over the entire thing. And so there could be massive puddles of these black flecks throughout the adventure, and we could probably repurpose this like black pudding stat block somehow so that it corrupts them in a way. It might just, instead of doing damage, like, okay, let's do this. So this is a black pudding. It's a CR4, 1100 XP. So let's throw this in here. So black pudding, CR4, 1100 XP. And usually what I like to do is this is just for reference, but 241 is the page that it's on. So Monster Manual 241. This is all just for reference information for us. There we go. So we could use a black pudding. I think we would probably customize to some extent, and I don't know exactly how what the customization thing would be for it. But I kind of like that idea of doing something with the black pudding. We'll have to come back to that. So I'll just make a little note here. So when I'm going through this and I'm like, so all of this stuff here, we need to like come back here and open. So we know this adventure is designed for, I have 6 players, right? But I'll design it for 5 players and 6 level 4 characters. There we go. How many short rests or long rests, and that we haven't decided all that stuff yet. So we'll leave that there. There we go. All right, let's see what people are saying over here. Weapons or potions or poisons laced with the black flecks could corrupt? Yes, I agree. We could definitely do that. So, corruption mechanic. Let's see. Weapons laced with black flecks. Yeah. So any monsters that we have in the dungeon, everything's a dungeon for me. It doesn't have to be a dungeon. It could be above ground. It doesn't matter. But any monsters that we have that have weapons could have black flecks on the weapons. And so wounds could corrupt. I like that. I like that idea. Good call, man. What else we got going on here? A con save versus petrification. Upon full petrify, they're corrupted. Yeah. I like that idea. So we're talking about a corruption mechanic. So it would be a constitution save. Constitution save. What should the DC be? We're going to give them 2 save. Here's the thing. So with this whole corruption thing, if the players actually get corrupted, I wouldn't want to, if they fail their corruption save like a couple times, I wouldn't want them to just suddenly be totally evil and then be against their party mates, right? Because I think what you would end up having is you would have basically a death spiral, okay? If you got 6 players, or let's just have 5 players because that's how many fingers I have. If you have 5 players, one gets corrupted, and then he's against his teammates, right? And then what are they going to do? Are they going to kill their friend? Or are they going to somehow restrain them? And they're still being attacked by other monsters, right? If another gets corrupted, they're down to 3, right? It's a death spiral. So I don't want to have there being like an instant corruption. What I'm thinking more is we should make it where they have like some sort of incremental effects. But I like the idea of having 2 of them. So let's see. Let's just spitball and say the DC is 12. Let's not make it like super hard to pass, but maybe a little challenging. So 50% chance to roll a 10, right? And if you have like a +1 or a +2, you're probably a fighter type at that point. So a fighter type has a 50% chance to pass that save, roughly. I'm just kind of spitballing at level 4, right? And I like the idea of, somebody mentioned that was kind of like the petrification mechanic where you get 2 chances at it. So, hey Wiggles, good to see you, man. Game Master's Vault, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Mr. Burger's in the house. Awesome. Welcome, Ted. I I want to do this. So the Constitution save DC 12. Then there needs to be 2 of these things, right? Or be corrupted. And then you get, I don't know, must fail twice. I don't know. There's a quick note. I don't know. I can wordsmith that later. But the idea is that, you know, you get 2 chances, or you're corrupted. So what should be the consequences of becoming corrupted? We don't want them to be super horrible. I'm almost thinking that after like a certain amount of time, like an hour or 2, they might have certain consequences, and then say after like 24 hours or something, they would actually be fully corrupted and evil. And then we would have to, if you become corrupted, what's your motivation? To corrupt other living things? Kind of like the zombies, you know, that we have like in pop culture zombie movies where they just want to corrupt other things. That could be the mechanic. I don't know. Let's see what people are saying here. Good morning from the UK. Oh, who's from the UK? Well, it moved on me. Wiggles. Hey man, thanks for joining us. It's morning in the UK. It's probably about 1 or 2 in the morning in the UK would be my guess. Game Master's Vault says black puddings are all fun and games until your level 2 paladin fails his knowledge check and slices 1 and 2. Absolutely. That'll make that fun. Does black flecks have a weakness? I don't know. What is the weakness of black flecks? So, weakness. We're gonna have to build out a stat block for black flecks, I feel, at some point. So let me see. I think that I have. Whoops, I'm clicking weird stuff here. I think that I have a quick part for a monster stat block. Do I? Or am I? Yeah, I do. There we go. Boom. Where did it go? There we go. there's my stat block. I mean, I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna put that at the very, very end of this adventure, and go to the very end. Thank you. Where's all these spaces coming from? Sorry. We're gonna put this at the very end, and I'm gonna insert my quick part for a monster stat block. So there we go. These are gonna be. We're not gonna necessarily fill all this out right now. That's a lot of logistical work. You know, black flecks. But where is this thing? Who did somebody had said they had some sort of weakness. We need to flesh this out. Oh crap, that's not the right button. We need to flesh this out at some point. Weakness. There we go. Oh, I just exposed my email address. Good thing I don't use that email anymore. So you can email that all day long if you want, and you will never get a response because I do not use Yahoo. I hate Yahoo. So anyway, they need to have a weakness of something. What I do, so as I'm designing this adventure, when I have things pending that I just want to make notes about that I need to do later, I'll just make a note off to the side here, and that'll remind me. If I have any comments along the side, it reminds me to come back and fix it later. So they should definitely have a weakness of some sort. So if anybody's got ideas for black fleck weaknesses, because ultimately the goal of this adventure is the players need to like cleanse the gnomes of the black flecks. Remember, we're not trying to kill the gnomes. The gnomes were good guys that were corrupted. So we want there to be a mechanic for the players to cleanse the gnomes. So if somebody's got an idea for how to cleanse the gnomes, then I'm all ears. I don't know how it would work. I think for the other things that they cleansed when they came across the black flecks the first time, I think they just killed everything or burned it. So, I mean, killing and burning is like players' first response usually to problems in the game. And if that doesn't work, then they usually want to do an intelligence check and have the DM give them the information. And that's not going to happen. They're going to have to figure this one out for themselves. All right, DC 17. No, that's too high. I don't want the DC to be super high for corruption, guys, because the whole point here is not to. I don't think I want to make it super challenging. A DC 12 at level 4 is pretty good, because if we're constantly trying to corrupt the players, eventually, guarantee you, somebody's going to roll a 4 or a 5 or a 6, and they're not going to have a very big Constitution modifier, and so they're going to get their corruption. So a DC 12 is going to get people corrupted, right? So I'm not too worried about making a super high DC. Now, if I were running a level 15 game or a level 20 game, yeah, let's bump that DC up, right? 12 is my favorite DC. 12 is a good DC. It's a good low-level DC. There are no mini Nigels in this game. Sorry, Ted. It's not going to happen. My favorite DC is 0. Yeah, I bet. So Wiggles says I can never decide between 10 or 15 and usually go with 12. Yeah, that's good. Philip. You know, I keep looking at your last part of your name, Philip, where it says Catstrup, and it makes me want to say ketchup. I like ketchup a lot. I hope that's not insulting. It just makes me think of that. A -1 on wisdom or constitution ability scores. Okay, I think you're talking about the consequences of, you know, what we need to do here. I need my navigational menu over here so I can jump between things quickly. Can you guys, should I zoom in on this? Is this like legible? It's probably not super horrible. Probably go in a little bit would make it easier for you guys to see. So I think we're talking about corruption mechanics. And somebody said a -1 in wisdom or constitution ability scores. So here's the thing. If they're being corrupted, it's really messing with their free will, right? It's not messing with their constitution necessarily, or their strength, or their dexterity. What it's really doing is it's messing with their free will, their ability to control themselves, right? So wisdom makes more sense. Possibly charisma would do that as well. And I don't like messing with Constitution, honestly, because once you start messing with Constitution, they have to adjust their hit points and stuff. I don't like messing with Strength because then they have to adjust all of their weapon hit attacks. And I like to avoid those sort of like noodly mechanics in game where you actually got to try to figure crap out. Messing with something like Wisdom is really easy because you don't use Wisdom for much except for like your Wisdom saves and then a couple ability checks maybe. So that's something that's pretty good to hit somebody with. Swan Master Flex says they worship or are mind controlled by the black ooze. Yeah, you know what? I like that idea too. So if you're corrupted, these are the immediate effects. I like the idea of being mind controlled by them. What if we said something like, if corrupted, these are the immediate effects. What if something like every round of combat or something, they had to make some sort of wisdom save, or for that round, fight on the side of the black flecks. So just one round. They get to say, if you become corrupted, right? If you become corrupted, you just have to make a save every time you're in combat, or you fight on the side of the black flecks. That's maybe not a horrible penalty because, you know, you're not always going to fail your save. First of all, we're envisioning that not everybody's going to get corrupted right away, first of all. And if you do become corrupted, then, you know, you still aren't totally under control of these things. There's a chance you're going to fight on their side. There's a chance you won't. So, you must make... I'm going to roll with that. I like that idea. You must make a DC, 12? Wisdom save at the start of every turn at the start of each of your turns in combat. If we say every turn, that's the start of every single person's turn, so we don't say that. At the start of each of your turns in combat, or fight on the side of the black flecks. There we go. If you're corrupted. Does that make sense? And the reason obviously I'm a writer, and I'm a technical writer, so I want to be specific with the language. But I want to make sure I got that nailed down too, so that, when we publish this and make this downloadable, other people will understand what we're trying to say. So I think that makes the sense. It makes the sense. Yeah. Cool. I like that idea. Let's see what else we got going on over here.
They okay. Wiggles says it's 12:30 a.m. Awesome, man. So it's Saturday. It's the weekend, dude. Nice. They were weak to fire before. So John says they were weak to fire. Were they? Damage immunities. Acid, cold, lightning, slashing. Condition immunities. It doesn't say anything about being weak to fire. We can definitely make them weak to something. What should they be weak to? Everybody uses fire. I don't want it to be fire, okay? Every single sorcerer and wizard is throwing around like fire bolts and fireballs and all that bullcrap. I want to make them weak to something that not everybody uses. So you have to use a little bit of ingenuity, or figuring it out rather than just getting lucky because all you ever do is throw fire bolts around. So let's make it something different than firebolt. Cold would be interesting. I don't think cold is a very frequently used mechanic. And the other reason I like cold too is how do you create cold? Like you can light a torch and create fire, but if you don't have a spellcaster who can create cold, how do you create cold things? I don't know. We could make them weak to cold. And then the party might not have a way to overcome that. But I like the idea of being weak to cold. So let's go back to our template here, and let's go back to the black flecks. And wow, we have a whole bunch of stuff here. A medium tiefling. Wow, that's crazy. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is not accurate. You know what I almost want to do? We might just throw most of this stuff out. We might just say something like, I'm blowing stuff up. Per black ooze with the following changes. We'll do something like that. We don't have to create like a unique stat block for these things necessarily. So let's just do that. I'll leave this stuff down here in case we decide to use it or whatever. With the following changes. So we will say vulnerability. Vulnerabilities will be cold. There we go. Obviously didn't spell that right. There we go. Vulnerabilities are cold. Awesome. So that's how they will defeat these black oozes. What do we got? I was 6-week-old, so late nights are nothing out of the ordinary. Awesome. Awesome, I guess. Black flecks is weak to water. Water, yes. Because it touches water, I love it. 4 elemental, that's a great idea. Because if we make them only immune to cold, the PCs might have a difficult time, finding cold to hurt them with. But if we say that they are weak to water, and it plays in with the whole idea that it corrupts you and turns you to metal too, because if you put water on them, you're rusting them or you're causing them to be weak. You guys can hear my cat up there. She's going nuts on us. Shut up. She wants me to pet her or something. So, they could be vulnerabilities, could be cold and water, right? You pour water on them and boom, you're doing tons of... So we can't just say they're vulnerable to water because water doesn't actually do damage, traditionally speaking. So we'd have to say something like water. We could say something like 1 flask of water poured on the black flecks how much damage did it do? We want it to be like really damaging, right? Like if you're pouring out an entire flask on these things, what if we made it something like 2d12 damage or something like that, Just make it a bunch of damage to these black flecks. And then once they've fought these black flecks, and if they find out that they're vulnerable to water, then they have to go fill up their flasks, and there's going to be an inventory check where they're like, hey, what do we have on us that can carry water? And they'll have to find a river or something. I don't know. They can figure that out. But I like that. I like that mechanic. That's a good idea, dude. Any cold damage will half its speed at least. Maybe they only get 1 action. Yeah, we could do that. Vulnerability is cold, and it halves the speed. If exposed to cold, speed is halved. Do they get more than 1 action already? They only get 1 action already. They have a pseudopod, so they got 1 action right now. Nice. I like it. All right, let me see what else we got going on over here. Holy water. Yep. Holy water. Yeah, holy water would work too. I mean, that's water. So, yep. Uh-oh. Oh, man, I'm getting way behind in chat. Fire seems too obvious. I agree. Yep. Ooh. So, I'm way behind in chat. All right. Glad you're liking it, Josh. Keep on working. Powdered silver. So Forte says, fire seems a bit too obvious. Maybe some kind of herb in the area can negate and eventually cleanse the flecks. Yes, I love that idea. So there needs to be a cleansing. So there's a corruption mechanic. We should have a cleansing mechanic. Cleansing mechanic. There we go. I think I'm just kind of going with the first idea somebody gives me on something, because we got to make some progress. We can't like poll everybody and see what everybody thinks and then pick one, right? We just kind of got to make some progress and get it done tonight. Get it done! So cleansing mechanic. There is an herb. Oh, that was not the right button. A herb in the area. So they're gonna like pick the herbs or something. Yeah. Cures it. Oh, here's the idea. I have an idea. So, in the middle of the gnome village, they have a garden, right? And there's a certain part of the garden that is not corrupted. It's totally clean. And that's the part of the garden where this herb is growing. So this will be the clue to the players. As the players are going through the adventure, they'll come upon the garden and they'll see that there's this massive bit of it that's not corrupted. And they're going to be like, why is it not corrupted? They'll poke around and they'll see that there's this one plant growing in that part of the garden. And the corruption does not touch that plant. And then they're going to be like, I wonder if this is a cure, right? And then they can basically cultivate it and then make a cure out of it. So we're going to roll with that. That sounds like a good idea I just had. So we will do that. All right, so there is a garden in the center of the gnome village. The herb grows here, and the corruption has not touched it. So what we're going to need to do then is, in my little template here, inciting action, and let's put, at some point we're going to talk about the garden, right? Let's do some read aloud text. We haven't done any read aloud text yet, so let's do some read aloud text. As you travel further into the gnome village, you come upon a garden. Most of the garden is overrun with corruption. Leaves are wilting and flecked with black. However, one area of the garden appears to be untouched by the corruption. Bam! There we go. Read aloud text. I have a mechanical keyboard, so you could probably hear me. I'm like, you know that GIF or that whatever where Kermit the Frog's like typing really fast? Like, I probably sound like that on my keyboard, like crunching away. So I am halfway through a cup of coffee at this point, which does not bode well for the stream or the number of intermissions we may need to take. But we'll see how that goes. All right, so we need to do a little thing here. Non-corrupted area. In this area grows an herb. We need a name for the herb. There's an herb called Yagamaki. There we go. Just picking something. Called Yagamaki that cannot be corrupted by the black flecks.
it can be made into a cure. And what I will do here is I'll do a little thing. It can be made into a cure. I will do a DM note. Now, this is something I like to do as well, guys. For something like this, where we have this idea for an herb being able to being made into a cure, let's not decide how that works, right? Because what's going to happen is the players are the ones that are going to come up with the idea of making a cure out of the herb. So let's let them discuss at the table and figure out what they're going to do, whether they're going to brew a potion, whether they're going to, I don't know, do something with it, whether they're just going to like take these plants and like beat corrupted gnomes with them. I don't know. Stuff them down their throats or something. I have no idea what they're going to try to do. So let's not decide what actually works. Let's just roll with something at the table. Whatever the players decide to do as far as a cure goes, we can just say that yes, that works, right? So I'm gonna make a DM note to that effect, and that's something I do a lot of times. Sometimes I'll make puzzles or something, and there's no answer. I mean, I don't know the answer, right? I'm just waiting to see what the players come up with as the answer. Now, maybe the first thing they try doesn't work, because they're going to discuss about 5 different things at the table over the course of like 5 hours before they actually decide to try one of them. And you might say that the first one doesn't work, the first thing they try doesn't work, and the second one they try doesn't work, but the third thing that they thought might try, that's the one that works. And so sometimes you don't even have to decide the answers to these things ahead of time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends. In this case, let's not decide. Any method of creating a cure out of the herb works. Bam. There we go. Done. So we now have a way for the players to uncorrupt the gnomes. Excellent. My contacts are drying out too. At some point, I'm probably going to put my glasses in. I'm sure you're all very interested to know that. All right, let's look at the chat. Let's see what's going on here. We probably have some awesome ideas over here, and I'm like way behind. I remember one of our live streams, I was like about a half hour behind the chat. And I was challenging you guys to keep on talking because the live stream was going to end when I caught up. But tonight, let's just see what we got going on here. Okay, so Philip says maybe a boss idea is a hag who uses the black flecks. So ooh, you know what? Wow, good gravy. My cats are killing each other upstairs. Sorry. I'm sure you guys are all really interested in the activities of my cats, but I can hear them like attacking each other. We just got one new cat who like hates all the other cats, and so she's like about 7 pounds, and I kid you not. My other cats are all these big fat tubs, okay? They like weigh 16 pounds and stuff. And this little 7-pound cat has them terrified out of their minds. You have no idea. Like, all of my cats will just flee the room. Here comes... I'm sorry. This is not part of the stream. This was not planned to be part of the stream, but my cats are going crazy, so... Alright, you get to learn about that stuff. Anyway, yeah, but they're all terrified of her. Tay-Tay is a little maniac. She's just... Wow. She kicks their butts. They're big babies. Alright, let me see. Too expensive. Okay, we were talking about a hag. Philip said that a boss idea might be a hag. Let's pop up to the top here. Now, I know who the boss is going to be. So I mentioned before in the stream that there were 3 ogres that were corrupted by these black flecks. And one of those ogres is going to be the boss at the end here. Not the lead ogre, but one of the little minion ogres. But here's the thing. We can totally take the stat block of a hag and say that it's an ogre turned hag. We can totally do that. And I like that idea, actually, a lot. So let's take a look at... I know we were in the middle of something else, but I like this. We're going to be like going all over the place as I get distracted by people's comments. But I think that's okay. Let's go to hags and look at hags. We also have Volo's Guide to Monsters has hags in it. So let's see what we can find here. Now, here's the thing, guys. When I design boss fights, I almost never have there be just one solo boss that the players are going to fight, because solo boss fights are almost always crappy because of action economy,
surround and pound mechanics and stuff like that. So we don't want the hag to be a super powerful hag that we would have to have them fight just one-on-one. We want to take a lesser power hag and have her have minions and other cronies along with her to make this more interesting. So let me zoom in a little bit. I'm pretty sure you guys can't see that. That might work a little bit better. So we have a green hag who it's a CR3. Now they're all CR4. The party is CR4s. So that's definitely a possibility. A night hag. That is a CR5, and we have a sea hag. That's a CR2. I remember the sea hag sounds interesting though. I mean, it's called the sea hag. It's from the sea and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be. It can be anything we want. My cat's going crazy up here. What about the green hag? Green hags are from like the forest, right? What does it say? The wretched and hateful green hag dwell in dying forests. I mean, it doesn't matter where the green hag is from, right? It's an ogre. We're just repurposing the stat block of a green hag. So let's call it a green hag, which is a CR3, and it's going to have minions with it, right? And I mean, its armor class is pretty good. Armor class 17, hit points 82, right? And if we have minions along with it, then it will be able to do some stuff. Now, here's the thing, though. I'm looking at the stat block, and this is really boring. I mean, what can the green hag do? She can change her appearance. She can do an invisible passage thing. And she has claws, right? Mimicry. I mean, innate spellcasting. Nothing here super interesting. So we're probably going to have to give her some special abilities as like a boss, right? But let's get her written down. So she's a CR3, 700 hit points. All right. Green Hag. Monster Manual 271, CR3, 700 experience points, I should say. And we're going to need to customize her. Customize. This is the ogre boss. There we go. Because an ogre is kind of uninteresting too as a boss because it's just a big pile of hit points with low armor class that does lots of damage. So we generally want our bosses to be more interesting than that if we can. So let's see what other people are saying here. I'm way behind in chat now. Fire's too obvious. Yeah, no, exactly. No one uses water. That's why we chose water as their weakness. Nobody uses water. Yep, I like that idea. Alamandine says a rare herb in the area that can be made into a drink or salve that essentially dissolves or causes the body to purge out the flecks in some way. Yeah. Can I copy paste that? There we go. I'm copy pasting that. That is the cleansing mechanic. Where's my cleansing mechanic? Garden. There we go. It can be made into a cure that causes the body to purge out the flecks in some way. Awesome. All right. Swammaster Flex says the flecks are part of this legendary custom black pudding, which can regenerate from the flecks. Corrupting living beings allows it to exert suggestion on them, and they take a penalty for each level. Yeah, there's some sort of suggestion mechanic. So, yeah. So, let's say that the black flecks can use. Should we make? No, let's make it an action. Can cast suggestion as an action on living creatures corrupted by black flecks. We'll say that it is a DC 12. I think suggestion is a wisdom save. There we go. Boom. So new special ability for our black flecks. They can cast suggestion as an action on living creatures that are already corrupted by black flecks. Awesome. There we go. Boom. So they'll have to be some black flecks in the adventure. We'll have to throw some of those in there. I think we're still doing some of the groundwork, some of the planning of these creatures and all this kind of stuff. We still need to kind of march through like encounters and stuff like that. So we need to start thinking about encounters that they're going to come across as we kind of expose them to this stuff. But we got some good ideas going on here. Philip says, my name is Danish, so you can call it what you want. Okay, thanks, man. That's cool. I mean, that's really cool, dude. I like that. Leak guard. That's cool, dude. Boy, y'all making it too hard. I like this corruption mechanic. All right. Maybe they can get an item so they can't get corrupted, like rings or necklaces. I mean, if they... Aha! So, corruption can be prevented by staying sopping wet with water. I mean, water is their weakness, right? So if you keep yourself totally soaked with water, you can't be corrupted. So let's go up here. Corruption mechanic. Preventing corruption. Let's see. Preventing corruption. PCs... Wait, completely wet, covered with water, or in wet clothes are immune to corruption. Bam, there you go. I don't think that however, this doesn't cure corruption. So if you're already corrupted, it doesn't actually cure you, or would it? No, we have this herb. You have to use this herb to actually cure you if you're corrupted. If you're corrupted and you have water on you, it's going to do damage to you, I think. Yeah. If corrupted, these are the immediate effects. You take 1d... I mean, the black flecks themselves took like 2d12 damage when water was exposed to them. But if you're corrupted yourself, you're a less pure form of the black flecks. So let's say that you take 1d6. What kind of damage would it be? Radiant damage? Cold damage? We'll call it cold damage. You take 1d6 cold damage if you come in contact with water. So, there we go. If you're covered with water, it will prevent corruption, but if you're already corrupted, it will cause damage to you. So I like that idea. Good call, man. Okay, yeah, We Write Weird Stuff says the first time they encountered the black flecks, they were immune to fire. Well, the black flecks have evolved, and they have learned from their mistakes, and they now realize that fire is a bad idea to be vulnerable to fire. So now they're vulnerable to cold. They've changed their minds. An anise hag. Oh, you're right, Wiggles. An anise hag fits the build of an ogre. Totally true, dude. And an anise hag has a slam attack. Oh, you're onto something. Let's change our minds on that. I like the way you think, dude. Let's pull up Volo's Guide to Monsters. Sometimes I gotta click a few times before this guy wants to open for me. I think it's working now. Ooh, that looks cool. All right, here we go. Where are my hags? Anise hag. Bam. I'll zoom in a little bit so we can actually read this. Yeah. Now, anise hag is a challenge rating 6. They have this crushing hug. The crushing hug is awesome. I love the crushing hug. And they have fog cloud. Ooh, that's fun. Okay, we changed our mind. So it'll be an anise hag. CR6 2300 159. All right, let's put this in here. I like that idea. That's a better idea, dude. Volo's Guide to Monsters. What page was that on? 159. CR6. How much XP was that? It doesn't. I don't really have to write all this stuff down. This is just how I do it. It's for future reference. It'll make it easier for us. There we go. And it's an anise hag. All right, I like that. Good call, man. Good call. All right, where did my chat go? Stand by. All right, anise hag. Use the potions with the hag. Yeah, the hag has potions. All right, we can do that. We'll put some potions on her. We'll have to like make some. So this will be the corrupted ogre boss. Really, really inventive here tonight. This uses, we'll say per anise hag with the following. My cat's licking something up there. It sounds rough. With the following changes. All right. What do we say? Per anise hag with the following changes. Do we have any changes? Yeah, potions. So it uses potions or something. We'll have to flesh that out. I don't know what that means right now, but we'll figure that out. Whoa. Kitty stream. Yeah, kitty stream. We'll go with kitty stream. Wow. Stuff jumped around on me. I'm like way behind. I'm trying to get caught up here. Elder Sage is a good name for the herb to mix with water to deal massive damage to the black flecks. Its weakness is tea. Yeah, that we could oolong, elder sage. I like the idea of elder sage. Is an herb called yagamaki, which translates to elder sage. There we go. That way I can use yagamaki. We get garden gnomes. Yes, that's awesome. That's sweet, man. Probably like a ways behind in chat. Garden gnomes. That's freaking sweet. There should be. There needs to be like little gnomes, little decorating gnomes in the garden. However, let's correct that typo. One area of the garden appears to be untouched by corruption. You come upon a what do you call it? Adorned or ornated? What are those little ornaments? You come upon a garden. I don't know how you would say that, but they're like little gnome like figures and stuff in the garden. I kind of know I don't know how to express that in English, I suppose, or like in a well-written sentence. That's interesting. We'll just make a note here. The gnomes have decorated the garden with small gnomish carvings. With carvings of small, colorful gnomes. There we go. Bam. Garden gnomes. There we go. Rock and roll. All right. There could be an encounter in the garden with a corrupted plant monster. Woo! Yes. Okay, so a corrupted plant monster that comes to mind to put in our garden would be what is that thing called? The iconic plant monster that like can consume you and like swallow you into it and stuff. Oh, I should know the name of this. Shambling mound. I think that's the name of it. So let's go find a shambling mound. I agree. I like that idea, dude. A shambling mound is guarding the garden. All right, shambling mound. Now, a shambling mound is a challenge rating 5, 1800. All right, let's get some of this written down. Shambling mound. Woo! All right, so we're gonna put it. We'll put it up here. I gotta undo that. Come on, man. You're killing me. No color. Shambling mound. Monster Manual 270 CR 5 1800 XP. All right, let's go back to our garden, and then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna just make a we'll just call it ending.
No, let's do this. We'll say a shambling mound is in the middle of the garden. It rises up and attacks any living being that comes within, I don't know. I think shambling mounds have blind sight. So they have 60 feet blind sight. So there you go. That's our answer. They come within 60 feet of it. There we go. Boom. Done. Actually, let me double check something here. Okay, that's a problem. 60 feet is a problem because they only move 20 feet. So if the shambling mound is 60 feet away, so this is how my mind thinks when I am creating encounters. Because what I'm thinking is if the players or the heroes are all 60 feet away, the shambling mound comes up and starts coming toward them 20 feet, they attack it. Bam, 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 bam. It comes toward them 20 feet. They attack it. Bam, 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 bam. Then they go away 30 feet. That shambling mound it'll have a hard time catching up with them. And it'll just get like picked apart from a distance. So we probably don't want the shambling mound to like rise up when it's too far away. What we really want to do is we want the shambling mound to lie in wait until a hero or two are next to it. And then like vines and tentacles start like wrapping around them and attacking them. That's when we want it to attack. Otherwise, the encounter might be just trivial because they just destroy it at range. So that's kind of like some of the things I try to think about too when I'm designing an encounter. How will this encounter play out at the table, right? So I try to think through those things when I'm kind of staging it. Let's make some notes about that. So it rises up. So when a PC enters the garden and is next to it, it attacks from hiding. And we can say, I'm pretty sure if we look at a shambling mound, lightning absorption, we can say, it doesn't actually have a trait that says that it looks identical to plants and vegetations, but we just got done describing our garden as being all corrupted and stuff, right? So we will say that it looks identical. A shambling mound is in the middle of the garden and is indistinguishable. Indistinguishable. That was a horrible. Oh, it fixed it for me. Good. Is indistinguishable from other parts of the rotting garden. There we go. So it'll be, probably get a surprise round or something as it springs out on them, I would imagine. Unless they're very suspicious of the garden, they're really like trying to observe things. But otherwise, it's just going to spring out on them and get a nice couple attacks on them. That'd be fun. Now, I don't think there's a concern. They're all level 4s, and a shambling mound is a level 5. So the way that combat's going to go down is like the first round and the second round might look pretty bad as the shambling mound starts to like do bad stuff to them. But once all the PCs organize themselves and actually start fighting it, it's probably going to go down very, very fast because it has 15 armor class, which means they're probably going to hit it pretty frequently. 136 hit points. So once all the PCs start attacking it and doing damage, this thing's going to drop like a rock. So I'm not too concerned about that being like super, super hard for them. What we can do though, let's pop over to. Let me show you how I think I've done this before on the live stream, but I keep looking for something. So this is how let's enlarge this a little bit so we can see. And we're gonna have 5 players. They are level 4. We'll calculate that, and we're gonna have 1 shambling mound, and a shambling mound is 1800 XP. And so the way this works is this is the site that I use. I'm going to take that URL and I'm going to put it standby. I'm going to put it in the description down below. So if anybody wants to, hey, we got 19 people on. Awesome, that's cool. Thanks, guys. I'm going to put that link to that site in the description down below so that people can find this. encounter, what is that called? Calculator. Encounter calculator. There we go. Now you guys all got that. It'll save in a second. If you guys want that URL, it's very useful. I use that site to create all my encounters, to balance them and all that stuff. Not that the mathematics in 5th edition work really well for creating encounters. A lot of it is guesswork, but there's that. And so basically the way this works, you put the number of characters in, you put their character level, you calculate it, and it gives you like the thresholds for their difficulties and stuff. And you can see I put in one monster, 1800 experience points, which is our shambling mound, and you guys can see that it's really just a medium encounter. Now I am kind of giving the shambling mound a surprise round, so it'll be a little bit harder maybe. They'll be fine. I'm not too worried about it. What's the worst that's going to happen? It eats them all. All right, rock and roll. Let's go back to where. I wasn't showing my screen when I was explaining that to you. I was showing my face. So I think you guys could see how I did that, though. Number of characters goes here. Character level goes here. I calculated it. It shows me the thresholds here. And then I put the number of monsters here. Experience points. I click calculate. And then it tells me how, what the encounter level is. Now, if I were to have 2 shambling mounds, I think that would be overkill. That becomes a deadly. And you can see that the adjusted difficulty rating is 5400 XP. And the deadly threshold is 2500 XP. Now here's the thing, all of this math starts to break down around level 8 or so in my opinion, but right now this is level 4 party, so the math is fairly reliable for balancing things at this point, I feel, so we definitely do not want to make this a deadly encounter. Most of our encounters are going to be easy or medium, maybe a hard one. The boss battle might be a deadly one, okay? But we don't want every single encounter to be super, super hard for our characters, our players. I'm getting low on coffee. It's a problem. All right, where were we? We had just decided on some stuff. We have a shambling mound in the middle of the garden. All right, awesome. I love it. I love it. All right, where were we? I should look at the chat. I'm sure we got some awesome comments going on in the chat. I'm way behind on. Yes, garden gnomes. So you guys are giving me like really good ideas. I like these ideas you guys are coming up with. Lots of cool stuff here. To enter the garden, they must sing "Mary, Mary, quite contrary." Okay. What if they take the plant, put some of the leaves in there, water, or eat the leaves? Yeah, that could work. That could absolutely work. I think anything the players come up with to use the plant, the herbs, to cure people will work. I think that'll all work. Let me see. I like the corrupted plant idea. We fought some of those before, but we were only level 1 then. We could fight bigger, badder ones now. Yeah, you guys fought twig blights and you fought blights basically. I think there are like 3. There's like a twig blight, a vine blight, and something else, a needle blight or something. And you guys fought those. We might put some of those in here. We'd have to make them a little beefier if we were to do that. I don't have a new kitty. I mean the new kitty is a few months. We've had her for a few months since like June or July or something like that. We found her outside the YMCA one day, and she was the most adorable thing. She's coming up to us. She's like on the ground, rolling around and purring, and we're like, oh, we can't just leave her here. So yeah, we got another cat. And let's see. Anna's hag fits. See, I'm so far behind on chat. See, this is what it does. This is what chat does to me. I'm trying to like read along, and it'll jump all over the place on me, and then I lose where I am. And you guys got some good ideas, so I don't want to miss stuff. Do we need a gnome religion? I don't know. If you want to make one up, you can. A mini bonsai variety of the Goulius tree. Gnomes, Hades, gnomes make some corrupted kobolds. Kobolds hate gnomes. Corrupted kobolds. Corrupted kobolds. The players just got done fighting a bunch of kobolds and stuff. So we might do that. Hag witch. I'm trying to see. Ooh, a garden of death.
Shambling Mound has stealth +2. That's the site you use. Yeah, Wiggles. That's a good site. A corrupted Shambling Mound. I mean, I'm just assuming that the Shambling Mound is a massive vegetation that was corrupted by the flecks. And so we're just using the Shambling Mound. The well has been recently filled in. Should be an investigation check. Hint at the water weakness. Ah, so somebody mentioned something about a well. Put a well into the garden. A creepy broken well that contains, dun dun dun, water. That's a good idea, guys. Good idea. Near the garden is a well. There we go. And we will say, well. The well has been, what did you guys say? We said it was filled in. Do we want to fill it in with something? Yeah, maybe rocks. Maybe it's been filled in with rocks. We want them to be able to like use it to get water out of it. Has been filled in with rocks. Recently filled in with rocks. There we go. Bam. There we go. That's at least a hint. Why would the well be filled in with rocks? And the players will start talking about it, and they might hit upon the fact that water is, the weakness of these black flecks. So there we go. Or it's just broken or thrashed. That way they can still get water out, which they'll need. So if we fill it with rocks, they can still probably figure out a way to pull the rocks out so that they can get water. Or maybe it's just had debris thrown into it. Yeah, has been recently filled in with like large pieces of debris. And we'll just say it's not too hard to remove the debris and access the water. There we go. So a little bit of a note there for the Dungeon Master running this, so that he doesn't make it too terribly hard to get water out of the well. Because we will, since we're creating the weakness of the black flecks, we do want to provide an avenue for the players to, get their weakness once they figure out what it is. We don't want to outright tell them, so I like the idea of having the well that's filled with debris, because then it's kind of a hint, a clue, and they might try something out. So there we go. I am caught up. Now, Swan Master, whether I caught up because I skipped a bunch of stuff and missed a bunch of ideas, or I got through them all is another thing. So if I missed something that you had a really good idea about, please throw it down in the comments. Hey, Maniac. Oh, Eric Shield is here. What's up, dude? Good to see you, man. I wonder if there's anybody else. I haven't noticed any other people's names, but if you want me to say, hey, what up, dude? Just throw a comment in. We already have the sack of water gushing or whatever it's called, so we won't be short on water. Well, that's true. John, that's a very good point. So your particular group does have that flask of endless water, right? Which might be a problem once you guys discover that actually does damage and kills the flecks and stuff, right? So your particular group won't have trouble with that. I'm going to be publishing this adventure and making it available for other people, so not everybody will have a decanter of endless water or whatever, but you guys will. And so, John, I'm going to be trusting that you're going to keep your mouth shut about all of these things that we're talking about, too, since you're going to know all of the answers to the adventure. All right, this is what I'm going to do, guys. I need to go take out my contacts because they're getting really dry. I'm going to put my glasses in, and I'm probably going to go, go to the bathroom or stuff. So we are going to take a short intermission, and then I will be right back. So, and I prepared something very special, too, for our intermissions. So here you go.
All right, and we're back. While I was gone, I got some more coffee, which will keep me going for a while. So, thank you for bearing with me. This is the natural consequence of doing long streams. Intermissions are occasionally needed. So, let's see. We need to do some more work here. So we have been kind of jumping all over the place and talking about things, and we've got lots of great ideas here. What I want to do now, I think, is we had... Where is it? Gnomish potions. So one of the things that I want these gnomes to be doing is they're going to be riding on the backs of large creatures. Ogres? I'm thinking they might be ogres, okay? And I want these ogres to have like wooden platforms kind of attached to their backs, maybe strapped to them, and the gnomes are kind of on these platforms. And they're maybe have little walls around them so the gnomes can kind of duck behind the walls, and the platforms pop up and throw potions and stuff. And so what I want to start doing, guys, is I'm going to start putting in some information about these ogres and the platforms and stuff. But while I'm kind of doing that, I want you guys to start brainstorming what the potions can do. So the gnomes are going to be throwing potions at the PCs, right, that'll have various effects. And I want to know what those would be. Now, damage is damage, right? It can blow up and do damage to them. But I want to make this something that's a little more interesting than just pure damage, right? Some various effects that will make it more fun and interesting than just, killing people. So if you guys want to in the chat start brainstorming some different ideas that these potions can do, I'm going to get some groundwork laid here. So we need to find our ogre, because our ogre is going to be a thing. We're definitely going to have some ogres in here. They're a CR2, so page 237 CR2. Ba-ba-ba. Ogre. Monster Manual. I have a horrible memory. 237. CR2. 450 XP. Alright, so we're going to have ogres with platforms on their backs. They are wearing wooden platforms on backs. Platforms have walls around them. The corrupted gnomes ride in the platforms. We'll say two corrupted gnomes. Two corrupted gnomes ride in each platform, throwing potion bombs. Right on each platform, popping up from behind cover to throw potion bombs. And we'll probably say the walls of the platforms give the gnomes 3/4 cover. I want to make it 3/4 cover because if we give the gnomes full cover, then they really can't be targeted by spells, by attacks, by anything. And I don't want to make it exceedingly challenging for our players. I want there to be a glimmer of hope of hitting these gnomes. And the gnomes aren't going to have a really high armor class anyway, so I think 3/4 cover is reasonable. That's +5 to their armor class. And we need to come up with a stat block for our gnomes as well. Some small creature with very few hit points that can serve as our gnomes. I'm almost thinking we use Commoner. The Commoner stat block could serve as our gnomes as well. Because, let me see. Find this bad boy. That's the wrong one. Wrong one. Commoner is here. Dun dun. Commoner. Ooh, a cultist. A cultist. Now, a commoner is really, really, really crummy. However, the whole idea of these gnomes that have been corrupted is that they are really just commoners. This is a normal gnome village. They are not heroes. They are not like fighters or warriors or anything. They're just normal gnomes in a village that has been corrupted.
And so they should be really weak. And if the players just want to go through and kill all the gnomes, that probably won't be super challenging for them. I mean, they're just really weak. They die really quickly, sort of challenging. But again, the whole idea is that the players are not going to want to just kill the gnomes. They're going to want to cure the gnomes. So making them weak's not a big deal because they shouldn't be just going around killing them. Remember that we have that NPC, Pit and Pop, who is a gnome that's not corrupted, who's going to travel with them. And he's going to basically be, begging them, please save my village folk, save my family and my comrades and stuff like that. So the PCs are going to have a motivation not to just kill the gnomes. So they can be weak. That's not a problem. I think we could just use the commoner. We'll just call it a day with the commoner. It's really easy. Their to hit is really bad, though. So I don't know that for the potions, when they throw the potions, we might not want to use their to hit modifier. We might want to just say that the potions have like a saving throw DC when you get attacked by a potion and it blows up on you. And that way we can just set like a static DC for the potions. So let's go with the commoner. The commoner is on page 345. Commoner. Monster Manual 345, CR0, 10 XP. Bam, there we go. These are the gnomes. Gnome commoner. There we go. Awesome. All right, let's check our chat. Let's see. So I want to talk about the gnomus potions. What these potions are going to do as the gnomes are throwing them. So let's see what we got going on in the chat. I asked you guys to come up with ideas. Somebody's talking about cockatrice meat. John is too busy stuffing his face with cockatrice meat to spill the beans. All right, I like it, dude. No more kobolds. Suffer not the kobold to live. Yeah, I don't think I want to put kobolds in this adventure because my group just got done fighting a bunch of kobolds. It was nasty. The kobolds in tight corridors, they did not have fun with those kobolds. So I don't want to use kobolds in this adventure. 3 clue rule for the win. I would have preferred a kitty cam. Yeah, John is saying, we spent over a month in the kobold tunnels, getting disadvantage on every check. That's what I do. When I run kobolds and goblins, and you're going into their lairs, the tunnels are small, and you're gonna be squeezed, and you're gonna have disadvantage on your attacks and your checks, and people attacking you are gonna have advantage. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be totally nasty. That's how that's supposed to be. Gary the Intern. Gary the Intern is an awesome NPC for my Wonder Panda campaign. Now Gary the full-time employee. I'm just cruising through chat here looking for ideas for potions. Petrification potion. We know they can make petrification potion. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a petrification potion. Yeah, let's keep a bulleted list. I'm fine with that. Petrification potion. All right. How's that work, guys? How does the petrification potion work? So there's got to be on the first round the victim must make a DC. What should the DC be to become petrified or not? I kind of want to make this low, to be honest with you, because if we petrify, if one of the PCs gets petrified by this, I mean, it takes them out of the game, right? They're just out of the game. They're out of the adventure. They're done. So I don't want to make this particular potion should not have a high DC because I don't want, I want my players to play the game. And there's a time and a place for a nasty petrification thing, but it shouldn't. I don't want to make this too prevalent. So let's make the DC a 10. I'm thinking people are still going to fail that. On the first round, the victim must make a DC 10. Constitution, which I spelled totally wrong. Constitution save or be restrained. On the second round, the victim
must make a DC 10 Constitution save or be petrified for 24 hours. And we're just going to say that it's 24 hours. You know what would be interesting? What if we said that pouring... No, it's a petrification potion. I was going to say pouring water over the person would unpetrify them, but I don't know that that would necessarily work because these aren't actually parts of the corruption. It's just like... Wait! Yes! It's a petrification potion, but it doesn't turn you into stone. It turns you into metal. It metallicizes, is that a word? Like your skin or something, so that you're like, you can't move or something. Or be restrained. On the second round, the victim must make a DC 10 Constitution save or be petrified for 24 hours. These potions don't turn you to stone, but rather to iron. Let's just say iron. And then pouring a flask of water over a petrified creature unpetrifies it. There we go. Let's just do that. It gives them a mechanism for getting unpetrified, which they may or may not figure out. So, but it's there. And I like the whole mechanic of it turning them to iron instead of stone, because we had that motif for whatever going through other parts of the adventure. So I like that. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. Ooh, Princess Canuta. What's going on, Princess K? Oh, a message. A message is held for review. Oh. Okay, I think that's okay to show. We write weird stuff called Princess K, a sadistic DM. She wants to kill everybody, so that's not probably far from the truth. Princess K is awesome. Princess Canuta is one of my patrons. Thank you, Princess K, for your support. I do appreciate it. If anybody's interested in supporting the channel, down in the description, there's a link to my Patreon. So you're welcome to check that out. There are some cool perks and stuff for it, and whatnot. So there it is. A stunning potion. Oh, you know what? We had some more. I missed a bunch of stuff. Other people have ideas up here, and I skipped over a bunch of it. A sticky potion, a slippery potion, a blinding potion, a nauseating potion. Okay. Let's do some of those. A sticky potion. What would that do? I'm just going to write this down, and then we'll figure it out. A sticky potion. A slippery potion. Blinding potion. Nauseating potion. Awesome. Oh. Eric says, remove the well's pump handle. A la Broad Street, Soho, unless that's too much misdirection, if you know your history. I don't know my history. Well, I don't think the well has a pump handle because old-fashioned wells usually just were a big hole in the ground, and my understanding is that you would just lower a bucket down into it to the water and then draw the water up with the bucket. So I don't think we would have a pump on it or anything. But I think filling it in with debris is probably sufficient. For giving them enough clues that something threw a bunch of debris in the well of water. There could be a marking potion that works like fairy fire. Okay. We'll call it a potion of radiance. That's spelled wrong. Fairy fire. I am not the world's strongest speller. All right. You know what, guys? I have the wrong screen up. I have been showing you my big face instead of my desktop, which would probably be helpful for you so that you can actually see what I'm writing. All right, there we go. Then I got to get my chat back. There we go. Sorry about that. Potion of slow. It works like the slow spell, but a single target. Okay. So a slowing potion. Per slow spell. Forgot a space. But on single target.
What's the DC? What's the save DC? What does the slow spell do? What does the slow spell do? I guess I could look it up. Where's my phone? Stand by. I have a spell book on my phone, which is the easiest way to look this stuff up. I could probably bring up, I should probably just bring up a PDF of the player handbook so that everybody can see what the slow spell does on screen. I just want to find out what kind of save it is. Something tells me it's going to be a Constitution save, would be my guess, but I'm just guessing at this point. Spell casting, and I don't know what page this is going to be on, so let's see if I can find this really quick. Did not find it yet. Stand by. Oh crap. I totally did not find it. I'm gonna have to actually just scroll through until I get to the S's. Wow. It's disappointing. This is why I have that spell book on my phone. I can just literally type it in and search for it. It's the coolest thing ever. RS slow is here somewhere. We're gonna find it sometime tonight. I promise you. I'm probably gonna go buy it because I'm not paying attention. Come on, man. See how long this takes? How long it takes to find stuff in a PDF when the search functionality didn't. I went past it, didn't I? I went past it. There it is. All right. What kind of save is it? Dexterity. Nope, that's not it. Wisdom saving throw. Interesting. A wisdom saving throw. So it's a mind affecting thing apparently. All right. So anyway, we found out the answer to that. It is a DC 12 wisdom save. And now it's a potion, so there's not going to be like a 1 minute. Per slow spell, but on a single target, DC 12 wisdom save, or affected for 1 minute. There we go. So there's no concentration on the part of the potion thrower. The person's just going to be affected for 1 minute. There we go. Potion of Radiance is going to be Fairy Fire. So we will say, per the Fairy Fire spell, but on a single target, DC. Now, Fairy Fire basically, gives everybody advantage to attack you. So, DC, let's just make it 12, I don't know. That is going to be a Dexterity save. Dexterity save, or affected for 1 minute. Some of our potions do need to do some sort of... Now, blinding is nice. Let's see. DC... Everything's going to be a DC 12. Everything's a DC 12. Make our lives easy, right? DC 12, Constitution, save, or target is blinded for 1 minute. Now, one of the things I want to... Minutu? There we go. One of the things I want to do, guys, is what I'd like to do is when these gnomes are throwing potions, we have like a random mechanic for the potions. So I actually don't want the DM to just like pick the potions he's going to throw. I want to make it so the DM, kind of like a beholder, when you're choosing which eye rays are going to attack, you roll like a 1d8 or something, maybe a 10, and then whatever number comes up decides what eye ray shoots. In the same way, what I'd like to do is we roll a die and determine what potion the gnome throws at people. So we need to get that sort of mechanic. Now, I don't want to have like too many crazy amounts of potions, so we want to keep something reasonable, So we're going to turn this bulleted list into a numbered list. Bam! And let's maybe if we have maybe 10 or 12 potions, so we can come up with a few more. And we have some information we need to fill in about these, but let me check the chat and see if we got some other ideas for potions here that might work. Maybe the bombs can have a gas-like quality similar to the dust of sneezing and choking and can cause blindness. Yep. I agree. Potions can just function like spells. They could, absolutely. I think we have a few potions already that just function like spells. I want some potions that do damage, too. we need some that do some sort of damage rather than just... Because here's what's going to happen. If we have a combat and all the gnomes are doing is throwing potions that, like, you know, impede the characters or make them blind or, you know, make it easy to hit them and stuff, but nothing in the combat is actually causing damage to the players, then there's no real threat to them. It's just like an inconvenience. You know, it's just shenanigans at that point. So we do need stuff that's going to cause damage to them as well. So we definitely want a few potions that cause damage. And we're probably going to want to throw in... I mean, the ogres themselves, they're carrying the gnomes, but the ogres themselves, obviously... You know, that's probably true. The ogres themselves would be attacking the characters with, like, clubs and stuff. So that's a mechanic to cause damage to them. So I think that's fine. But a couple potions that cause damage would be a good idea, too. But can also work as an area of effect status effect, too, if thrown and creates a gas cloud or puddle. I agree. Let's do that, Eric. Let's make another one here. A poison cloud. Let's just call it a poison cloud. Poison cloud. I'm like getting into like singing notes. I don't sing at all. I just make weird noises. A poison cloud. What should that be? What if we make it? Let's just make it something simple. Creates a cloud of poisonous gas in a... What do you want to say? A 10-foot radius? A 10-foot radius is reasonable, right? That's a 10 feet radius is pretty big. That'll work. In a 10 feet radius, all creatures in the cloud must make a DC 12 Constitution save, which I spelled wrong. Constitution save. Oh man, the spell check didn't even catch me. I'm gonna have to start over. Constitution save, or take... How much damage should it be? 1d12. There we go. Nice, like, you know, swingy range right there. Either you take a little bit of damage or you take a lot of damage from that. Dun. The cloud, I don't want this cloud to be... We could make it persistent, right? That might actually be an interesting mechanic. We could say that... Or we could just make it just be a one-time effect and you take the damage, right? Let's make it be a one-time effect. All creatures in the cloud must make a DC. The cloud only lasts one round, and black fleck corrupted creatures are immune to it. Because here's the thing, if the gnomes are throwing these down and stuff, we don't want them to be damaging themselves, or the ogres either that they're riding on. So we're going to make them immune to it. Whoa, oh jeez, I almost spilled coffee. I gotta be careful with that stuff. There's only so much coffee in the world. If you spill it, there's never any more. Alright, here we go. Some more chat stuff. I think we got that. Potions can function like spells. Area of effect, got it. Joshua says, Potion of Euphoria. Ooh, this sounds interesting. When taken, you can't help but laugh and make jokes. All rolls have disadvantage because you can't focus. I like that. You know what I think I want to do? I like that idea. Let's turn it into Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So let's just make it into a spell. I love the idea because Tasha's Hideous Laughter does like pretty much the same thing that you're describing. And that way we already have game mechanics built in and we don't have to like write a bunch of text to describe it. So I like that idea. So that is a potion of, what did you call it? Euphoria. And we'll say per... Uh-oh. I pushed the wrong button. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good. So what happens when you get crazy on the keyboard and start pressing wrong things. Potion of Euphoria. Per... Don't bold it. Don't bold it. Per Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Per Tasha's Hideous Laughter on a single target, which Tasha's Hideous Laughter is a single target anyway, but whatever. On a single target, DC 12. What is this? Wisdom save? Is Tasha's Hideous Laughter a wisdom save? I'm just gonna use my phone, guys. You're not gonna be able to see this on screen. By the way, if you use an Android, the app that I'm using is called Standby 5th Edition Spellbook, and over on my what do you want to call it? If you download that for the Android 5th Edition Spellbook, it has all of the normal spells in the player's handbook in it, and you can just search for them and get them really, really fast. It's almost all the players at my table use this app for our spells. And over on my subreddit, which I think there's a link to my subreddit down in the description, I have a link to a place where you can download an additional like library of spells to put in that app that will give you all of the spells in like some of the splat books that have come out for 5th edition. So definitely check that out. It is super, super useful. I really like it. Anyway, they should be sponsoring me to like plug their thing. They're not. It's all right. Someday. Anyway, let's look this up. We got distracted again, as I am wont to do. So Tasha's. So here's the thing. I don't know. Does it call Tasha's? Yeah. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Come on, man. You can do it. I totally clicked on you. There we go. It's a wisdom save. It's a wisdom save. DC 12 wisdom save. Or be affected for 1 minute. There we go. Boom. Done. One of my cats is over here on my printer. He's like right over there. I could probably try to move my camera, but then I would probably not be very successful at getting it back into the place. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, distraction. Let's keep going here. Potion of Euphoria, great suggestion. Great suggestion, Josh. I like that. DC 58, Swan Master Flex is going off the deep end. DC 58. Fog Cloud Potion, Laughing Gas Potion, Sleep Potion. I like that one. Let's do Sleep Potion. Sleep Potion. Single target must make a DC. We should spice this up. What should the DC be for falling asleep? Let's just throw a curveball and make it 15. Because everything's 12 so far. So, like, you're going to be doing this, running at the table, and your players are like, DC 12, DC 12, DC 12. And then finally you're going to be like, no, it's actually a DC 15 for this one. Totally throw them for a loop. So let's do that. Single target must make a DC 15. What's sleeping? Constitution? Wisdom? All right. Now we're going to look up the sleep spell. Stand by. Sleep spell is... I can read. The sleep spell has no save, actually. It has no save. We can make it a no save spell. Well, DC 15 is pretty high. Let's just call it a charisma save, wisdom save. Let's call it a constitution save. Constitution save or fall asleep for 1 hour. They're gonna get woken up. You know somebody's gonna wake them up, or they're gonna take damage or something. So it's not a big deal. Anyway, there you go. Maybe 2 more potions. Maybe we make there be 12 potions or something. We need something that does damage. I'm looking for a damaging potion. We need some things that do damage. Uh-oh. It skipped all over the place. Wow. 2 fail check. A stunning potion. I'm looking for damage. Papa Nurgle? Papa Nurgle is my patron? Okay. Not my patron. We Write Weird Stuff says that. Slippery potion is like the grease spell. Okay, let's fill that in. Per the... Whoops, that's the wrong button. Grease spell. Per the grease spell. That's it. And it lasts 1 minute. Bam. There you go. I think it's like a 12-foot cube, or a 10-foot cube is the grease spell. Here's my spelling for you. Thank goodness for the squiggly red underline to tell me when I'm spelling things incorrectly. What do we say? Nauseating potion is like ray of sickness. Okay. Per ray of sickness. I want to look this up because I don't use Ray of Sickness ever in my games, so I don't know actually what it does. Ray of Sickness. It's instantaneous. Oh, it takes damage. Oh, cool. And it's poisoned. Oh, I like that. Let's do that. There's a damaging spell for you. Sweet. Per Ray of Sickness. And we're gonna have to make it a DC. Constitution saving throw. So it's a DC 12 Constitution saving throw. Per Ray of Sickness. How did I say this? Target DC 12 Constitution save. Bam. That's all we need to say. Done. Okay, let's see. What else we got going on over here? Laughing Gas Potion is like Tasha City's Laughter. We got that one already. Princess Canuta just keeps putting like evil smiley faces in the stream chat. Man, I need to get a moderator. Fierce Mushroom, what's going on, dude? How's it going, man? He says, we love your big face. You know, that's probably good because, like, in my videos, like, I'm always, like, getting up really close to the camera and stuff like that. So, it's just my style, right? Because a lot of these videos that you watch, it's just, like, one camera angle and the person talking the whole time, right? And I like to make things a little bit different. So, anyway. Molly sends his regards from Retkanian. Okay, Sleeping Shaman. That sounds like something you're talking to John about. We write weird stuff. Cool. A ringer potion of unpetrification. Trying to find some other ideas for potions. Potions of questionable utility. Drink it and roll on a wild magic tables. Yeah, we could do something like that. All the potions should be dexterity saves. You can dodge the splash and don't get hurt. And then Swammaster Flex says, can we set this up so that you just roll a D number of potions on list and that's what gets thrown? Exactly. That's what I'm going for here. And I might be a little bit behind in the chat. All right. So, when a gnome throws a potion, roll a D12 and consult the list below for the potion thrown. You know, I kind of like the idea of making all of these things dexterity saves, because that just makes it easier for the dungeon master, because you're dodging the potion, right? You're just getting out of the way, as opposed to getting hit by it. So I kind of like that idea. It makes it easier for the dungeon master, but what that does is heavily favor players that have high dexterity saves. And players, like for instance, the rogue is going to dodge this stuff all day long. The monk is going to dodge it a lot. But the fighter or the wizard are going to get hit by every single one. And so I like the idea that the DCs are sometimes wisdom, sometimes dexterity, sometimes like constitution. Because that makes it so that, you know, different players or characters aren't always getting screwed over by the potions. So it would make it easier, but I don't think I want to do that. Good suggestion, though, but I think there are good reasons not to do that. Mostly just for game balance and fair play for your players. And we got a few more. A sticky potion is per the grease spell and lasts 1 minute. I think we got to put a DC here. DC 12. The save is required. I think there is a save when you're in the grease thing. Oh, wait. The slippery potion was supposed to be for the grease spell. Stand by. I put that in the wrong place. There we go. Sorry. We still need to... We have a sticky potion. Is there any idea for a sticky potion, guys? Or we can put a different potion there. And I still have a couple more potions that we need to make up as well. So, let's see if we got anything here. Dodge or be affected would be simpler. It would be simpler. Yep, I agree. It'd be simpler. Crack handle then. I'm trying to get caught up in here. A fireball potion. An acid fog potion. All right. Yeah, let's do a fireball potion because fireball. I opened the door and cast fireball. Now this is going to be, we're going to call it a fire blast potion because we're creative. It's not gonna do 8d6 fire damage to everybody in a 20-foot radius because that would be insane for a little potion. We will, let's say, creatures in a 10-foot radius must make a DC 12. Are we gonna do 12 again? Why not? Dexterity save. How much damage should it be? 2d8 damage? Remember, these are level 4s. So I think 2d8 damage. 2d8 fire damage. And then we'll say a successful DC 12 dexterity save for half damage. Something like that. I think that's worded kind of awkwardly, but we'll just roll with it because I'm not gonna wordsmith on the live stream. I think we understand what that means. Let me see here. Josh got home and says that his Horde of the Dragon Queen has arrived. That's awesome. Are you planning on running that with your players? So, Josh, the last I remember is you were running, I believe you were running the Mines of Phandelver, or however you pronounce that, with your players. Are you guys planning on doing Horde of the Dragon Queen next? Is that the plan? That'd be cool. Wisdom say, I'm trying to find a fire potion, a thunder or lightning potion, a poison potion, frostbite potion. Yeah. Slap elemental damage in there. Why we gotta suggest it? Yeah, let's do... I don't want to do a cold potion because the black flecks are vulnerable to cold. So I don't think any of our creatures would be using cold. But I like the idea of lightning. Let's just do a lightning potion. I don't know. Electric cloud. Electric cloud potion. I don't know. Something like that. And it'll be a similar thing. We'll just copy paste this stuff. Not super creative. It doesn't really make a big difference. 2d8 electric damage. There we go. And we haven't defined the sticky potion, so I don't know what that means. We might replace that with something else. Oh, a sticky potion just makes difficult terrain. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like that. Creates difficult terrain in a 10-foot radius. Good. I like it. All right, I think we have defined all of our gnomish potions. And now we need to have something else. We'll do something else now, obviously. All right. What should we do next? We have our potions defined, and I know there were probably I know you guys all, there were some more suggestions for potions. And we're not going to probably be able to incorporate everything here, but we got some really good stuff here, so I'm excited. This will be fun. We got some that do damage. We have some that just mess with you and cause like afflictions and stuff like that, so that should be fun. Make sure I save that. Oh, crap. I haven't actually... I'm just saving the adventure template. Whatever. Yes, these are oil-based potions. Correct. Gnomes are equipped with a multitude of oil-based potions that they hurl at the heroes. There we go. Bam. I like it. Now, here this is the only thing I just thought of. If we are giving our gnomes a bunch of potions, then every time the what you want to call it, heroes defeat the gnomes, they're going to end up with a bunch of potions from the gnomes, and then they're naturally going to want to use these potions, right? Should we let them use the potions, or should we put a mechanic in place so that corrupted creatures are like immune to their effects? Like, this is a question, right? I mean, because the players are going to want to use the potions. Do we give them that? Do we let them use it? Does it actually affect the gnomes and the corrupted ogres and stuff like that? Or are there things immune to it? Because if we give them a whole bunch of these potions, then this is a lot of magical items for them to be using. So I wonder how we should do that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat what you think about that. I'm almost... None of the potions are labeled. Ooh. Wait, Swordmaster Flex. Hold on a second. He says, I swear he is reading my comments and passing them off as his ideas 50% of the time. I might be. I mean, if I'm trying to give everybody credit for their ideas. It's possible that you and I just think alike, and so I'm coming up with things and then reading your stuff and seeing that you had the same idea. But I apologize. I'm not trying to steal your ideas. I think you can let us use them. Most of the time we want to use our class we are best at instead of some random effect. And Fierce Mushroom wants random effects. Swanmaster Flex says, we got to settle the if they can throw all these, can the players loot any problem at the same time as well? If they can throw all these, can the players loot any? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, let's figure that out. Yeah, Philip, you can use these potions for your game, man. Any of you guys can use these potions. Anything we come up with in here, you guys can use. I'm going to create a downloadable of this and put it in the description when we're done with all of this stuff. So you guys can download this and you can use it in your games or modify it or do whatever you want with it. Absolutely. This is a community-created adventure. So 100% belongs to everybody. All right. Cool. Swan Master Flex. I'm laughing too. I think it's funny. Wiggles says, most of the gnomes are conveniently out of potions when players get to looting them. Players get 3/4 potions. Roll the d12 to decide which potions they get. We can loot the unlabeled potions, but we have to roll it when we throw one. Okay, I like it. I think I'm getting a lot of people saying that they should be able to get the potions and use them. So let's roll with that. Let's put a little thing here about looting potions from defeated gnomes. A gnome has 1d4 potions. Should we just say 1d4 potions? We should say 1d3 potions. A gnome has 1d3 potions on his person when looted. And we'll say all potions are unlabeled and players must roll a d12 when using a potion to determine what it is. I almost want to say that, like, I want to say, because one of the things, I know immediately what's going to happen. My players get the potions. I say they're unlabeled. They're going to want to do investigation checks to see if they can determine what the potions do. They will immediately want to do that. So we should put a mechanic in place that says that it takes some time to determine what the potions can do. So we should say something like, it takes, I don't know, several days of study to determine what the potions do. Several days of study and experimentation to determine a potion's effects. There. That just puts it. That makes it random, right? So the players can't just immediately know which are the good potions and which ones are not so good to use. So I think that's fair. So each gnome isn't going to have a whole ton of potions left on him, but it gives the players a little bit of cool little loot that they can use. Oh, by the way, one of the things that we need to do as well before we're not near to having this finished. We have lots of good ideas, but we still don't have. We have a lot of ideas for the adventure. We're brainstorming lots of ideas, but we don't actually have like the different scenes planned out yet at this point. So we need to start getting into that too. The different encounters that they'll actually come across. We have one encounter. We have the garden encounter that we fleshed out, but we don't have anything else beyond that. And so we need to start fleshing those things out as well. What was I going to say? But we're gonna need to go to the DMG and roll on the loot tables too to figure out what loot we're going to give to our players. Now, it already sounds like we're going to be giving them... They're going to be getting potions out of the deal, for sure, which will be really cool. But we'll want to make some loot for them. Some other random loot from the DMG for them. All right, anyway, let's see. We got some chat. Let's look at see what the chat says. 3 or 4 potions. Loot 1d4 minus 1 potions per gnome pair killed. That's not a bad idea. I hope they don't kill the gnomes. I hope they're trying to like uncorrupt them. But yeah, I think 1d3 potions on a gnome is reasonable. I think a lot of the potions just have effects that are kind of annoying. So I think 1d3 is okay. I think we'll be okay with that. And like any adventure that we create, you know, a dungeon master is always welcome, obviously, to modify it as he sees fit. So, the potions should be unlabeled and fragile. The more potions you loot, the higher chance they break during transportation. That's interesting. I like that mechanic. That sounds very interesting. Let me think about that. 1d3. Why you got to make us do math? 1d3 is not hard. You just roll a d6. You know, and 1 through a 2 is a 1, and a 3 through a 4 is a 2, and a 5 through... Okay, that's a little bit of math. Let's see. How many gnomes are there? Yeah, how many gnomes total are in the village? That's a good idea. How many gnomes are going to be in the village? Let's randomly determine how many gnomes are in the village. So let's get a dice roller. Dice roller. Let's enlarge this so you know I'm not cheating. What do we want to do? 4d10 gnomes. Does that sound reasonable? Average of that is going to be about 20 gnomes. Women and children and stuff. That's a very, very small gnome village. 8d10? Let's do 8d10. Here we go. Here's the roll. 43 gnomes. All right, there are 43 gnomes in our village. Round Hill. A rock gnome village known for alchemy. Population, 43. Population. There we go. 43 gnomes, including women and children. I don't know why we have to specify that. I mean, we should make sure that when we're describing the gnomes, like some of the gnomes they run across that are throwing potions are like little tiny gnomes or like little children gnomes. That will make the players feel even more guilty if they try to kill them. That's pretty cool. There needs to be a dungeon master note or something. Here's a DM note. Come on, I want to get rid of that. Gnomes encountered in the adventure may be grown adults, male and female, or children. And then make the players feel guilty if they kill children gnomes. Because you know there's going to be some players that have moral qualms with, like, killing little children gnomes. So, there we go. Awesomeness. My DM notes section, right there. Let's see. What else we got going on over here in the chat? Yeah, there needs to be some. I like this idea of a breakage mechanic for the potions. So we'll say, maybe. The thing is, here's what I'm thinking. I like the idea of the breaking mechanic for the potions, but I have a couple concerns. The first one is that you're giving the players cool loot, and then you're kind of taking it away from them, right? If they break. And the other thing are the logistics of it. So you'd have to remember how many are you carrying, and you'd have to remember to like roll to see if they break and stuff like that. So whenever I'm thinking of introducing a mechanic into the game, I like to think about like cost benefits, and I want to think about if the benefit that I'm gaining to the game, right, is enough to justify any sort of logistical cost for it. You know what I mean? And I'm on the fence with this one. I think I'm just going to say we're not going to worry about the potions breaking. I like the idea, though. I don't want to bog things down too much with logistics. I tend to not want to deal with. That's why I don't deal with like tracking encumbrance and inventory and stuff like that. I mean, my players are probably carting around like a treasure vault full of gold on their persons because I just don't pay attention to that stuff. It's a good idea, though. I just don't think I want to deal with breaking potions. So anyway, let's keep moving on. Let me see. Who is the big bad for the adventure campaign? So the big bad is going to be this Annis Hag, who is an ogre boss. We're going to use an Annis Hag stat block, but it's actually like it's a corrupted ogre. It's a big corrupted ogre who is part of a pair of 3 ogres that were originally corrupted. And the players caused all of this themselves. They are responsible 100% for all of this bad stuff that's going down. Because they got the ogres corrupted with the black flecks, and they left the ogres behind, and now the ogres are running rampant through the forest, causing lots of havoc. And I always like in my games taking some like little action or oversight or something from the players and like turning it into something bigger, right, that they have to solve, because then they're like, oh crap, this is our fault. We're the ones that did this. And it's a fun little mechanic I like doing to my players. I like to torture them in ways like that. All right, let's see what we got going on here. In opaque bottles. As for the encounters, I like having the black ooze be the ogre's minions. Yeah, that's a good idea. The final boss. So let's... Scene 1, Act 1. The heroes assemble. The sun sets on a village tavern. Are we splitting infected gnomes via unafflicted gnomes in hiding? Or are they all afflicted? Swan Master, I think all of the gnomes are going to be infected. Any gnome that you find in the village is going to be infected. However, that's a very good idea. Maybe there are some gnomes holed up in a house somewhere that are unaffected. I think we have unaffected gnomes now. Good idea. See, I'm giving you credit. I'm not taking all of your ideas. I'm using them, but I'm giving you credit. All right, let's see. So let's put a scene here of, we'll call it the safe house. Is that one word or 2? It looks like it's one word because I did not get spell corrected. So there is one house in the village that has not been affected by the corruption because it is the village healer's house. She has hung up inside the house several bunches of elder sage that prevents the corruption from entering. There we go. There we have a mechanic for a safe house. And what this does too, guys, and the reason as soon as I saw this suggestion that I clung to this, is that when you're creating an adventure, you don't want your entire adventure to simply be full of fighting things. The whole time you're fighting things. This is something that I call modulating tension. You want to have combats in your adventures and then periods of like low intensity, where they're like exploring things, or they're having social interactions where they're talking with people. And putting this safe house here gives them an opportunity to have a social interaction. It's also going to be an opportunity for them to get some information about what's going on around here. So this safe house is where the village elder lives, and she's got elder sage hung up in there, which is why the corruption hasn't gone into there. So we will say occupants. At some point, they're going to have to come across Pit and Pop's family, and they could be corrupted. and they'll either kill them or they'll like rescue them and set them free. So the occupants of the safe house are, what's the village healer's name? I don't know. Let's go find a name. Let's find a gnomish name online. Fantasy name generator. And there's probably a gnome option. I mean, this is how I get a lot of my names, guys. I just come out here and I click on stuff. There's got to be a gnome option. Gnome names. Wadate. What is a gnomish? We need a female name. Symbol. Pagnana. Oh, I like that one. Let's do Pagnana. Pagnana or something like that. That is a great idea. We're going to paste text only. It keeps... Whatever. Pagnana. Village healer. Let's put Pagnana, village healer, and her husband. What's her husband's name? Let's consult our random name generator. Linberart. I don't know how gnomish these names actually are, guys. It's just throwing together random syllables and stuff. We're going to call him Linbrat, because that's easier for me to pronounce. Pagnana and her husband Linbrat, they need to have some sort of like herb song. There we go. Her last name is Herb Song. I don't know. And her husband Linbrat are holed up inside the house. And then we'll say, I mean, they're gonna come upon the house, and we can describe the house as not having corruption. Let's do some read aloud text. You see before you one gnomish dwelling that is not covered with corrupted vegetation. And we'll say that a bunch of herbs is hung outside the door. We're going to say several bunches. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Several bunches of herbs are hung outside the door. Outside the door. There we go. Bam. A little read aloud text as they come upon this safe house. And we might actually, you know what? Here's an idea. What we should do is this safe house should be encountered before the garden, because they're going to go into this. They're going to go into the safe house. They're probably going to talk with this gnome, and she is going to tell people what's happening, and that for some reason her house is not affected, and the players will have an opportunity to investigate and try to find out why her house isn't affected. They're probably going to figure out that it's some of the herbs she has hung up, because we're putting hints here about the herbs hung up. And then when they figure that out, she'll say, "Oh, you guys, there's a garden that has these herbs growing in it." And then they'll go to the garden to get the herbs, and then the shambling mound attacks them. So we're going to take this safe house, and we're going to put it before the garden, right up there. There we go. We'll say information gathering. We'll say Pagnana and Linbrat don't know why their house was unaffected.
but they can tell the PC or the heroes the following. There we go. And then we'll make a bulleted list, and we'll say several days ago, 3 ogres. No, we'll call them giants. We're going to call them giants. Here's one of the things I like to do in my games, guys. I don't call things all the time by their actual monster names. A lot of times I call them, like, ogres are just giants. To a gnome, an ogre is a giant. So let's call them giants, because that way, veteran players, if you call them ogres, they're like, ogres aren't that tough to beat. If you call them giants, they're like, oh, giants. Now we're talking about much more difficult creatures. And so I like to play with my players' heads that way. So several days ago, 3 giants, actually ogres, arrived. And what did they do? What did the ogres do to corrupt everybody? So now we have to kind of create some sort of backstory, guys. So we have these 3 corrupted ogres, and they were already corrupted by the black flecks. 3 giant ogres arrived, and arrived accompanied by massive piles of black ooze. And we'll say the black ooze started attacking everyone, and Pagnana and Limbrat fled to their home. They have been holed up inside ever since. There we go. So that will allow the players to get a little bit of backstory information about what's going on. They'll at least know what happened and how the village got corrupted, but they won't know like tons of information about it. So let's go with that as some information they can get from those 2. All right, rock and roll. Let me see. Let's pop over to the full camera mode. I just want to look at something real quick. Dun dun dun. Awesome. And all right. So let's check out chat. See what's going on over here. Hey, Maddie Thing, what's going on, man? Glad you could join us. Creating an adventure tonight. They were going to eat us. That surely buys us a little leeway and responsibility. Oh, you're talking about the ogres. The ogres were going to eat you. That's true. When the players attempt to cure the gnomes, how quickly does it take effect? I think we have a cleansing mechanic, right? Herb in the area cures it. Guarded in the center of the gnome village, the herb grows here and the corruption has not touched it. So we can say that any potion or other concoction created from Elder Sage, Sea Garden area, cures corrupted creatures in... I almost want to say that once you drink this potion or some concoction or eat some of the leaves, that it like immediately like courses through your system and cures you over the course of like a minute or something. In 1 minute. There we go. Stand by. I have a little bit of a problem down here. My cat, so I have the power strip. The power strip is right down here, and my cat was walking down there. So everything could have just went and shut off. So I had to get that guy out of there. Now he's down there complaining because I moved him out of there. Okay, anyway, so that's how fast that cleansing mechanic will work. All right. Rescuing the hidden gnomes could be some fun role-playing opportunities. Absolutely. That's the whole reason. That's the reason to put them there. Yep.
If we can rally all the hiding gnomes, they could help us with the battle. They could. Yes, I agree. Let's see. So let's go back to the safe house. Information gathering occupants. They're holed up inside the house. They are willing to help the heroes, but they have no combat experience. There we go. That's interesting. What if they have like healing potions that they can offer to the heroes? They're healers, right? Here we go. Here we go. Squeaky has joined the live stream. So he's gonna be hanging out with us, helping us design this. So I think the healer could have some healing potions that they give to him. So they're willing to help the heroes, but they have no combat experience. They can offer some healing potions. Let's just say 2d6 healing potions, and let's say 1d4 greater healing potions to support the cause. They could be convinced to fight too, but they are averse to it. So they might have to averse to it. They might have to do some persuasion checks or something, or maybe give them some potions that they had looted and convince them that they could be helpful. So that's a possibility. There could be more hiding gnomes as well that we could build throughout this. So let's see what we got going on in the chat. Because they were wet. Yeah, they were all wet. And that's why they weren't corrupted. All right, Philip. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time, buddy. He probably left a while ago, and I'm just reading that he's saying goodbye. Fierce Mushroom says, do the cured gnomes automatically become non-hostile, or do they hold a grudge against the players for causing this in the first place? The players don't. The gnomes don't know that the players caused all of this. The players did some stuff a while ago with those ogres, and the ogres came and corrupted the village, but the gnomes have no idea that this happened. So yes, they become non-hostile. Absolutely. So let's see, a cleansing mechanic. So yeah, they would become non-hostile. So let's say that any corrupted gnomes that are cleansed become non-hostile and willing to help the heroes. However, they are not combatants and avoid dangerous situations and avoid battles. They avoid battles. They're not gonna want to, just be in an army when they don't know how to fight, but they might be convinced to do other things, I think. And that's up to the DM's discretion, on anything as you run an adventure. Let me see. Jennifer the Gnomish Healer. Yeah, Jennifer. We will call her Jennifer. Okay. Franklin the Gnomish Husband. Okay, I think we just renamed our gnomes. Okay, where are these guys? So let's do this. Let's do a replace, and we will find Pagnana. It will replace with Jennifer. Find next. Replace. All right. And then what did I call the husband? Linbrat. Would you want to call him Franklin? Franklin. There we go. Find next. Replace. There we go. Boom. Done. All right. We have renamed the gnome healer and her husband, Jennifer and Franklin. All right. Those will definitely be easier for people to pronounce as they're running this adventure. All right, cool. Thanks for the help naming people. Yes, We Write Weird Stuff says we never use the names he gives us. That's so true. I give you guys names and you're just like, you rename the people. You make fun of the names that I make up and then you rename them. The ogres pass their Masonic prophecies. Yeah. They believe the one is a chosen one who can resurrect the dead. Yes, that's true. That's true. The ogres believe that. I don't know that they're going to run into that ogre. They won't run into that ogre that can resurrect the dead in this adventure here. That's for a future adventure. Sorry. It's a coffee cough. That's the thing. What's the hook into the village? Is it they are being led there, or is there an incident or an encounter? Ooh, show me kitty. There's the kitty. Here, let me see if I can. Let's see if we can swivel the kitty into. There he is. Nice up close and personal. There's the kitty. There we go. The hook, right. You bring up a really good point, Swan Master Flex. We need a hook into the adventure, and that is the inciting action, which we skipped conveniently because we've been skipping all over the place tonight, which is fine, I guess. Usually when I do these things, I march through from beginning to end. However, I've been following the train of thought in the chat, I think, which is fine. But there needs to be an inciting action. So the inciting action is that I'm just going to type this out and talk as I type, and I'll explain it. When the heroes travel to the designated meeting point with the drow, with the dark elves, they will notice corruption in the forest. At the meeting with the dark elves, the elves will mention something happening in the gnomish village. I'll explain all this in a second because I think there's a lot of backstory here that I'm putting in that's happened in the campaign that you probably all aren't aware of. But I'll explain it in a second. It'll make sense, I promise. This is specifically for my game, so this is all kind of built into there. The elves will mention something happening in the gnomish village. Pit and Pop and the delegation of gnomes that went to Lamalty are with the heroes and will ask them to investigate and help. There we go. And usually what I like to do, I like to turn these sorts of things into bulleted lists because it is much easier for me to reference at the table if I need to and read. So that's our inciting action, and I said I would explain this. So the heroes found a necklace that belonged to. It's a necklace of the high priestess of the drow. They found this necklace, and they don't really use the necklace. It's pretty useless to them. And drow attacked them, trying to get the necklace back, and they defeated the drow, killed all of them except for one. And they interrogating that drow, she explained to them that they just wanted the necklace back. And long story short, some of them believe that she's actually good. She made a pretty convincing argument that she's not evil, that it was just a misunderstanding why she attacked. And all of the heroes, by the way, are not from this world. They're from a different alternate world where drow don't exist. So they have no reason to know about this whole thing about drow being evil. Anyway, long story short, she told them that, if they were to give her the necklace, that her people would be able to give them something in return. So basically, there's going to be an exchange. Wow, cats are fighting again. There's going to be an exchange where the heroes meet with the drow to give them that necklace, and the drow are going to give the heroes big giant lizards to ride, like mounts and stuff. And I think they might have promised to give them some sleeping poison as well, perhaps. I forget. But that meeting is going to take place. So the heroes are traveling down south toward the gnome village to meet with the drow, which is the perfect opportunity to describe the forest being corrupted. And there's a gnomish delegation that's up in Lamalty where the heroes are right now. They're going to travel back with the heroes to Roundhill, and so they're going to be with them. And so the gnomish delegation, uncorrupted of course, the cats are going nuts up there. The gnomish delegation is going to naturally request that the heroes go figure out what's going on in their town. So we're gonna take a brief intermission while I go figure out why my cats are all trying to kill each other. So I will be back shortly. Stand by. All right, I am back. I don't know what's going on up there, but we sorted some things out. They always go hiding when I go to investigate what's going on. So let me just want to see something real quick here. All right, let's take a look at chat and see what is going on. Yes, Fierce Mushroom's like, yes, he used my names. I see good ideas, I use them. Let me see. What do we got going on up here? All right, so we talked about the hook. We talked about the inciting action. We got that, check. So now we know why the heroes are going to go into there. You always want to have an inciting action or a hook. You can call it a hook. It doesn't matter what you call it. A reason that's going to provoke the heroes, the PCs, to actually go do the thing that you want them to do. So always a good thing. You got a good picture of the kitty. I have another kitty over here too. He's like sleeping on my printer. He's adorable. That's Chipper over there. Let me see. Yes, kitty. Could the gnomes be cured via elder sage smoke? Sure. I think so. That's fine. I would if I were DMing this, I think that I would be open to the players trying any variety of things to cure the gnomes. Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate the support, buddy. Intermission. Get your popcorn and snacks. Oh, dude, now you got me wanting to make like a bunch of popcorn. So I love making like popcorn just in a pan. Like I'll get this big pan and I'll just put some kernels, popcorn kernels in the bottom of it and put some like canola oil, you know, and just pop it by hand. Oh my gosh, that stuff is so good. Just like with salt on it. I'm probably, you know what, when we get done making this adventure tonight, I'm probably going to go make some popcorn. That'll be the perfect thing to eat at like midnight when I'm trying to go to bed. Okay, cool. Let's see if we got. Where did you go, DM? Princess Canuta is in the house still. All right. Fierce is gonna take a smoke break. All right, man. We'll see in a second. Air popper. Yeah. When I was in high school, my family had an air popper, and I remember that. I mean, it was healthy, but like it didn't have any flavor to it. So we would always, this is what we would do. We would air pop the popcorn, and then we would take butter and melt it in the microwave and then pour it on top of the popcorn, which kind of defeats the purpose of air popping it. That's probably why I am not slim currently. Anyway, we have a whirly pop, so good, with melted butter and truffle oil. Awesome. All right, so I'm caught up in the chat. If you guys had some ideas for things that I missed, please retype them or something so that I grab them. We're gonna continue on here. Let's see what we're missing. We need to see what we're missing in this adventure. We have some of this stuff. I'm just kind of looking through here. We have a storyline a little bit. We have some NPCs that they're gonna come across. Oh, you know what we should do? We should take these NPCs right here in the safe house. We could put them up here in the NPC area if we want to just, throw them up here so that we're aware of who they are. Because they're going to come across these folks. Jennifer and Franklin, Herbsong, the Village Healers. I mean, I don't know that we need to put like a whole bunch about them. We'll just get them up there since we did create a couple NPCs. Yeah, let me see. That's 100% what you're supposed to do with the air popper. Put butter on it. We write weird stuff says, oh no, we let him catch up. I'd love to see some constructs as opponents. That's a good point. Because this corruption thing supposedly turns you into metal, right? So it would make sense to have some constructs. And I have the perfect idea for some constructs. There are some constructs in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, I believe. Yes, there are. And we're going to grab some of those. What I want to start doing, if the gnomes do any tinkering, we can't see the word file. Oh! Sorry. I forgot to change. That's the wrong one. There we go. Word file. Thank you, buddy. You guys, if I ever forget to put up the word file here, and you're just staring at my big face, just throw something in all caps and be like, Luke, word file, so that you can see it. So there we go. Word file. We want to do some constructs. We definitely want constructs. I like that idea. What I want to do, let's find some constructs. And then what I want to start doing is let's create some of the scenes that are going to take place. So there's going to be, we already have the scene where they get the hook for the adventure and they start going into the gnome town. And at that point, there's going to be some sort of scene. I kind of want there to be a scene where like two big ogres come lumbering out of the village and then the gnomes just start throwing potions at them. That might be our very first scene. To kind of, or you could just have the entire village, just kind of be quiet and silent, and the players start investigating the houses, and then, like these big ogres like break out of inside of the houses and attack them or something. I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments what you think our first scene should be. When they go into the gnome village, what is the first thing that should happen to them or that should be going on? Let me know down in the comments. Let's get some ideas for how we want to kick this off. We can either do this like super creepy and spooky where they're like looking around for a while and they can't figure out what's going on, or we could just kick it off with some combat to like spice things up too. So there are a few different ways we could do that. Let me know what you think. And then while you guys are talking about that and leaving me some information down in the comments, I'm going to go find these constructs that I had in mind, and I'm going to throw them up into the top there so that we can work with those in the future. And I do like, the reason I liked your idea for constructs too, John, is that having a variety of creatures makes the adventure more interesting, in my opinion, than just having all the same thing, all the time, and you're fighting the same enemy over and over again. Variety is good. And then it's kind of the DM's job to get that variety and then try to think about why that variety of creatures or enemies are in that adventure and link them together through story. And so I'm gonna open up Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, and we are gonna find those constructs that I had in mind, because I know I saw some constructs in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. So we're getting close to 11 o'clock. We've been going strong since 8. But I feel like we're getting pretty close here. I think we got a lot of good stuff. So there's a pretty good chance that we're going to be able to wrap this up by midnight, I hope. So if I can get this file to open, that would be beneficial. White Abishai. Woo, that's not a construct. That's cool, but that's not a construct. I forget what these things were called. There were definitely some constructs in here. I just can't remember what they were. And they were like low-level constructs too, because we don't want to... Here we go. This should work. Constructs. Iron Cobra, that's what I was looking for. A Marut. Iron Cobra, 125. I think that's the one I was looking for. Clockworks. There we go. Ah! Check this out. Check this out. Is this not gnomes? There might be gnomes in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes that we could use. Interesting. Anyway, that's a tangent. Let's not go on that tangent right now. Clockworks. The gnomes' efforts to invent and tinker with magic and mechanical devices produce many failed constructs, but also result in genuine advances such as clockworks. Since their discovery, the methods used to craft clockworks have passed from one community of gnomes to another and down the generations. Great. Now, in this case, we're going to be using clockworks not necessarily because the gnomes crafted them, but because this corruption stuff might have turned some things into these. I don't know. We can justify it however we want. It doesn't really matter. The point is that we will have some clockworks, and we'll use these things. And this is interesting. There are, like, clockwork enhancements that you can add to it. A clockwork can be customized by adding one of the following enhancements with a potential malfunction. So here's the thing. Oops, I went too far. Here's the thing. If we had a lot more time, we could really go into depth and really customize these clockworks. But just for the sake of time for the stream and getting stuff done so we can all go to bed, especially folks who might be like in Europe or something. I wonder if that is, who was it? Wiggles, I think, was from, did he say England? Or something like that? I wonder if he's still on, because it's going to be getting really late for him. But we're not going to customize a whole bunch of this stuff, I think. We might just make a note that the DM can do that if he wants to, but we won't actually do it as part of the adventure design, because that would take a little bit of time. So we have a bronze scout. It looks like this bronze scout is a burrowing creature. It does have descriptions? Yeah. A bronze scout seldom emerges from below ground, thanks to its telescoping eye stalks. It can observe enemies at close range while most of its segmented worm-like body remains buried. If it is detected, the bronze scout deters pursuers by sending electrical shocks through the ground while it retreats to safety. That's assuming that it is purely like scouting and stuff. There's an iron cobra. Looks like it does some damage. That's a CR4. That's a pretty cool one. An oaken bolter. It looks like it's something that shoots like ballista bolts and stuff. Lancing bolt. It's a CR5. The stone defender is a CR4. Let's do, you know what? This is interesting. I kind of want to use this stone defender. Like, if you just look at this picture, that's like a really cool picture. So maybe we use the stone defender. I like this idea here. Does it do damage? Yeah, it has a slam attack. Cool. That's a CR4. So let's put a stone defender up in here. Where's my word file? Where's my word file? Creatures. Stone defender. This is Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. What page was that on? Whoops. 126 CR4. 126 CR4 for 1100 XP. Ah, that's the wrong button. All right, there we go. Bam. Stone defender, and I kind of liked the idea of that the little bronze scout. I'm just going to pick a couple of these, right? I don't want to like have too many of these that we're going to use, because then the adventure becomes like super long. Right, so let's just pick a couple of these things for variety's sake. I like this bronze scout and the fact that it's burrowing and stuff. And also, think of ideas, guys, of how we would use these two constructs in the adventure as well. How the players should come across them, you know, and that kind of thing. Give me ideas down in the comments. I'm starting to get pretty tired here, so my brain is not as creative as it usually is. So please let me know what you think we should do with these guys. Bronze Scout is a CR1. It's page 125. All right, let's see if we can get this written down. Bronze Scout Morning Canyon's Tomb of Foes, 125. CR1, what was that? 200 XP? 200 XP for a CR1? Yeah. All right, cool. All right, now, I had asked you guys to brainstorm what the first encounter should be. So, let's see. There's Clockworks and Morning Canyons. Yep, I got that. First thing is always roll initiative. Swan Master Flex says the player's investigating an apparently empty village, but then they see ogres and corrupted gnomes moving towards an assault on the safe house. Yeah, that's true. Or make a will save. The village should be deathly quiet, with the ogres patrolling aimlessly. Next question: where is the hag, and what is the black pudding? And is the black pudding the real enemy? I think this ogre, the Annis Hag ogre. Let's call this an ogre, corrupted ogre, shaman. We'll say per Annis Hag. The corrupted ogre shaman is like the actual real boss, and I think the black puddings are probably like his minions that'll be along with him in the fight. The only problem with that is the Annis Hag is a CR6 and the black puddings are a CR4. If we put those all together in a fight against a level 4 party, we're gonna slaughter them. So we're gonna have to think of a creative way to do that. Maybe it waves. Maybe the black puddings go in first, and once they're defeated, the Annis Hag, the corrupted ogre Shannon will come in. Where are they? I don't know where they are. They could just be hiding out in like one of the houses or something, and we just pull them into the adventure at a certain point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do with them right now at this point. I'm open to ideas of how you think we should encounter those. I do like the idea of the ogre patrols kind of wandering aimlessly. Let's roll with that. Let's see. Where is this thing? Gnomes potions, inciting action. We'll see. We'll say entering the village. All right. And then we'll say the gnomish village is deathly quiet when the heroes first enter it. I think I have some description of the gnomish village over here. There we go. Ooh, I have 80 gnomes, including women and children. There we go. We're going to copy that over into here, and we're going to put this in our location. And actually, we had said 43 gnomes, but I had already decided that there were about 80 gnomes. So we're going to get this out of there. There we go. All right, that gives us some information about Round Hill, the gnomish village. That it's like clusters of rolling grass-covered hills in the chlor. Houses are built into the hills, so that'll give some information for the dungeon master when he's describing the scene. But when they're entering the village, the gnomish village is deathly quiet when the heroes first enter it. This allows them to poke around and explore the gnomish homes, which are mostly empty. So I think what we should do is we should allow the heroes a little bit of time to just kind of look around and investigate and try to find out what's going on. And then after they've done that for a little bit, we'll have like this patrol of ogres come upon them. So then we'll say after some time has passed And this is the sort of thing where like the dungeon master uses his own discretion. You know, when he feels that the players have looked around enough and they're not really getting too far, or they've discovered enough or whatever, the dungeon master can just say, okay, now I'm going to have the ogres and this ogre patrol attack. After some time has passed, a patrol of 2 ogres and gnomish potion throwers comes upon the heroes and attacks. Now, I usually don't like the mechanic where monsters like immediately attack the heroes. I usually like to give the heroes an opportunity to like parlay with them, talk, and stuff like that. Combat is usually a foregone conclusion, but at least allows a little bit of interaction. But in this case, these creatures are corrupted and evil, and I think they're just going to attack immediately. And so we'll just roll with that. And attack. There we go. And attack. Now, what we're going to do here is, I mean, I don't know how difficult this would end up being. Let's go to our encounter calculator here, and let's punch in. We have 2 ogres, which are 450 XP. Those alone are medium. And we have these gnomes on the back of them that are like throwing potions at them. I don't know how hard that makes it. I mean, that might make it the equivalent of 2 more of these ogres, which makes this... Oops, I didn't do that correctly. Which makes this deadly. I don't know. That might be a pretty hard encounter. But let's just do that. So... what would this be? Let's say encounter notes. 2 ogres. 2 ogres with platforms. 2 gnome. What are we calling these? Potion throwers. What is this called? Gnomish Potions section. Ride on the platform. Ride on each ogre. There we go. Okay, there. That should get us going, at least. So we'll have 2 ogres come, and there are 2 gnome potion throwers, and they're throwing on each ogre, right? And they're throwing potions. And so you'll have an encounter right there. There we go. So we've kicked off our very first encounter as they come into the village. And what should happen next? So now we have this safe house. I don't feel like... I almost don't want them to come to that safe house quite yet. It almost feels like they should have like one more encounter before they actually come to that safe house, is kind of what I'm thinking. And that might be where we use one of these constructs that we have as well. Let's see what the chat says. All right, Almadine, see you later. GR Michigan says good night. Must be Grand Rapids. All right, cool, man. See ya. I'm getting tired too, guys. You probably tell that my enthusiasm and stuff is like tanking right now as I'm getting tired. So we're gonna have to wrap this up. We're gonna have to get some stuff done here and then wrap this up at least by midnight. We got to get this done by midnight. So the Iron Cobra should inflict the black flecks on anyone it bites in addition to poison damage. We didn't have the Iron Cobra in our list, but we could probably apply that to one of the other things like that Iron Defender or whatever it was. And they should creak and screech as they move while leaking the black corruptive ooze. Yep, I agree. The Bronze Scout could be the actual scout for the village. If we stop them, we can get surprise rounds against the baddies. But if they slip away, they can get fortified. Okay. There's a ooze that there is an ooze that has a lower CR, a gray ooze. Yeah. Ooh, I like that idea, Fierce Mushroom. Roll a d6 when entering the houses to determine if it contains a construct that alerts the ogres, thus sounding the alarm and starting combat. I like that idea. Okay. There we go. Entering the village. So let's do something here. An ogre patrol. Let's do that there. Entering the village. For each house they enter, because they're probably going to enter the houses to see if they can find any gnomes. Roll a d6. On a 5 or 6, the house contains, and what do we call those things? Stone defender. Oh, contains a stone defender, which animates and attacks any non-gnome. There we go. Immediately. And sounds a loud, blazing, and creates a loud sound. Creates a loud sound that alerts the ogre patrol. See ogre patrol section. And then we'll say in the ogre patrol section, we'll say like 1 minute. We'll say 1 minute after a stone defender sounds the alarm. 2 ogres, and there we go. There we go. I like that idea. So they're going to poke around in the houses, and eventually they're going to come into a house that has a stone defender. The stone defender is going to attack them, and it's going to sound the alarm, and then a little bit later they're going to have a patrol of 2 ogres with the gnome potion throwers that are come upon them and attack. I like that idea. That's a very good idea. Excellent. And then somebody had an idea for making sound and noises and stuff. Stand by. There we go. Ooh, yes. Good idea, Fierce Mushroom. I'm going to copy, paste. I'm going to copy that. We're going to do an encounter notes thing. And stand by. Stand by. The stone defenders creak and screech as they move while leaking the black corruptive ooze. And then we need to say that we had like a corruption mechanic. There we go. DC 12 or be corrupted. Yeah. See corruption mechanic. So we're going to say any creature hit by the stone defender is subject to becoming corrupted. See corruption mechanic section above. There we go. So basically, they're leaking this ooze, this corruption ooze out of them, and if the stone defender hits somebody, then we pop up to the corruption mechanics section, and they need to make a constitution save or be corrupted potentially. So I like it. That is a great idea. Fierce Mushroom, thank you, sir. And let's see what else we got going on over here. So we have the first thing. They enter the village. So see, now we're actually starting to get into the actual story or situation that's going to happen when they go into the village, and we're starting to get things fleshed out where it's actually starting to resemble an adventure that is playable at the table. Because before, leading up to all of this, we were just having a massive brainstorming session and getting a lot of these like nuts and bolts into place so that we could actually create the adventure. So now I feel like we're actually getting somewhere, that this is starting to feel a little more fleshed out. So I'm encouraged by that. And then We Write Weird Stuff had an idea for a bronze scout that could be the actual scout for the village. If we stop them, we get surprise rounds against the baddies. But if they slip away,
how could we do that? The bronze scout. How could we get that bronze scout to be part of this? I'm not sure how we would implement that. Let's see. Let me let that think in the back of my brain while I read some more comments. An Ubelex. Yeah, an Ubelex. Oh, I don't know that I want to look at the Ubelex today, and then think about how that would work. It's possible though. Put the safe house on the opposite side and run them into the garden. They should be invited to the safe house after the uninfected see the party fighting the corrupted ogres. That's a good idea. But then you said put the safe house on the... Swanflex says put the safe house on the opposite side and run them into the garden. That's a good question. So they entered the village. They're going to fight at least one... They're going to fight a stone defender. And other houses have stone defenders as well. And they might fight some of those later. So they fight a stone defender. They fight the ogre patrol. And then... Now the question is, do we have the safe house first? He like clawed me as he was jumping up there. What a punk. Do we have them fight... Do we have them run into the safe house first or run into the garden first? I kind of like the idea of them coming to the safe house first, and then they find out about the healing herbs, and then they need to go to the garden to get some more. What we need to do here, though, is when they come into the safe house, we need to put a little thing here. Elder Sage. Well, we can say something like several clusters of Elder Sage are hung up in the house, but the gnomes do not want to give it away because it is protecting them. And this is what I'm thinking. We need to give them, if we allow them to go to the safe house and then just get the herbs right away, they have no reason to go to the garden, right? And so perhaps these gnomes are like, no, we need to keep these herbs because they're keeping our house safe, right? And if we give these away to you, then the corruption and the ogres are going to come. So don't take them away from us. So we got to get... That's what I'm thinking. That way we have a reason to send them over to the garden. So let's see. But I like the idea. Somebody mentioned that once the ogre patrol. So I like the idea. Jennifer and Franklin observe the heroes fighting the ogres. Once that battle has finished, they call them from within their home. They call to them. They call to them from within their home. I think that works. I think that's a good idea. Let's just go with that. We'll call it a day. All right. Any other ideas here? The safe house needs to come before the garden encounter. I agree with you. I think I already talked through that, but I agree. I think the safe house first, and then they're sent on a quest to go to the garden to get to this herb that they can actually use. I agree with you, man. We write weird stuff. Leave it open-ended. Describe the basic layout of the town and let us choose where to go first. Yeah, that's true. You could do that too. Optional. We'll make this optional. At the DM's option, he can just let... You know what? I like that better. I agree with you. I agree with you, John. I like it better not being linear, where the players can just keep... They have the ogre patrol that they fight, and then they can keep investigating the houses, and there might be more of these stone defenders, and eventually they come upon the safe house. So what what we could say? Let's do this. I like leaving it more open-ended, to be honest with you. I think it's a good idea. I think that's a good idea to have them calling to the heroes, but I think it's also cool to leave it more open-ended. So wait, actually, you know what? This is what we'll say. Let's just say let's just pick a house. We can say the 5th house. Roll a I don't know. We'll just say the 5th house that the heroes investigate is the safe house. There we go. Let's just call it that way, because that way they're investigating the houses, and some of the houses are going to have those stone defenders in them, and they might have to fight them, and other houses won't. And eventually they're going to come upon the safe house, or we could do. They might come upon the garden as well. They might come upon that first. You could leave it open-ended. Let's just leave it at this. I don't want to waffle too much on how we implement it, just because we're running out of time. I want to get this wrapped up. So they're all good ideas. I don't think that there's one correct way to do this. I think you could do this any number of ways, and it would be really cool. So we'll just leave it like that, and leave it up to the DM's discretion to run this at his table however he wants to. But they're all really good ideas. There's no one right answer to these things a lot of times, I think. All right, let's see what we got going on over here in the chat. So the general flow goes: enter, search the houses, find the creaky guardian, explore a little more, or encounter ogres and corrupted gnomes, safe house, garden. I think so, Swan Master Flex. I think that is the general flow of the adventure so far. Yes. And I don't think it'll feel that linear to the players as they're actually playing it. We're kind of designing it a little linearly, but I don't think it'll feel that way to them. So I think it'll be okay. Whoa. My cats are just like maniacs. Our timeline so far, yes. After the garden encounter, the party can produce a viable cure. Exactly. That's the whole point. Yep, I agree. Totally. So let's just do a little recap. Stone Defender. They're going to fight a Stone Defender, at least one. They're going to fight the Ogre Patrol, right? And then they're going to go to the safe house, and they're going to have a little social interaction moment, which people usually call role-playing. But the entire game is role-playing. Combat is role-playing. Investigation is role-playing. Talking with people is role-playing. So I like to call those social interactions. They have a social interaction, and then they're going to have to go on a quest to the garden to get a cure. So information gathering. The goal... So we should say that the goal of information gathering is that the players would figure out that the herbs are protecting the house, and then Jennifer and Franklin tell them there is a garden where there are more herbs. There we go. That will kind of lead them into the next scene of looking for the garden. Excellent. All right. And then they go to the garden. I was counting on my fingers. They fight a shambling mound, and I think we already fleshed this thing out quite a bit. So we fought a stone defender, we have fought some ogres, and then we're going to fight a shambling mound. At this point, they get a cure, right? Where are all the gnomes? Like, so far, there are like 80 gnomes that were originally in this village. We've had one patrol of ogres with 2 gnomes on the back of them. And there are like 80 more gnomes, or like 78 more gnomes. Where are all the gnomes? Why aren't there gnomes all over the place attacking them? Why? We need to have an answer to this, because eventually they're going to get a cure, and they're going to want to find the gnomes and fix them and heal them. And so we need to have an answer of where the gnomes are and why they aren't all just attacking them. While you guys are thinking about that and giving me ideas, I'm going to go to the random encounter area.
And we're going to make some... We're going to make a random encounter. Because I think what I'm going to do is as they're going through the village searching houses and stuff, I think there's going to be a chance that there is just like one ogre with 2 gnomes on its back that like attacks them, that finds them. So we'll say for every oh, you know what? Let's I don't know. Let me come back to that. I may or may not use it there. Let's go into entering the village. Encounter notes, ogre patrol. Let's bear with me here. Exploring the village. There we go. Let's just say for every house the PCs explore, there is a... Well, I mean, we'll keep the same mechanic. So a 5 or a 6 is a 1/3 chance. So there's a 33% chance. It contains a stone defender that attacks. C, entering the village section. And then we'll say for every 5 minutes the players explore the village, roll a d12. On a 9 or above, an ogre with 2 gnome potion throwers on its back appears and attacks. There you go. So that way, as they're poking around and stuff, we'll just say 1 ogre. As they're poking around and stuff, there's a chance for an ogre with potion throwers to show up. So that'll put some randomness to it and feel like there's some more stuff going on in this village. One of my cats is just like running back and forth like a maniac. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That'll put some random. Where are all the gnomes though? Like, where are all the gnomes? Let's see. Did we get any ideas over here in chat? After the garden encounter, the party can produce a viable cure. Swinemaster Flex says, in my game, I'd leave it open, but the problem with encountering corrupted gnomes before finding a cure is that gnomes may end up dead. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. My hope is that the heroes are going to go into the village knowing that something is wrong and corrupted, and they're going to know that gnomes are good and not want to kill them, right? And so that is going to produce a moral quandary for them, where they're going to have to make the decision: do we kill gnomes that are attacking us, or do we not kill them? And I'm fine with just allowing them to make that decision. And yes, you might end up with dead gnomes. You might end up with gnomes that are captured and restrained until a cure can be found. Totally agree. I think we leave that open to the players to decide how they want to handle that situation, because that can introduce a really interesting conversation, and cool stuff could happen as a result. So, or a bunch of dead gnomes. So I think we leave that open to the players. But I agree, that is a risk for sure. I wouldn't worry about saving everyone. Saving most of them is good enough. Yeah, and that's for the players to decide. I agree, Fierce Mushroom. Game Master Vault says they're all at the tavern hanging with their gnomies. That's great, man. Caverns and mountain behind the town, digging and building a cavern fortress for the ogre Maggie and his pudding minions. That's a way to deal with all the gnomes. It also gives us a solution to the question, where is the ogre and the black oozes, right? Because so far they haven't been in the village, right? So that will help answer that. Let's see what else we got going on here. We could always run into like corrupted gnome guards or whatever too. That's a good point. Instead of always having the gnomes riding on the ogres, it could just be corrupted gnome guards. And those are going to be a lot easier for the heroes to fight than the ogres and gnomes, because the ogres and gnomes could be really powerful. Let's build on that right now. I like that idea. So exploring the village. Let's do something here. My cat is over there. Half of this live stream is me talking about my cats. Sorry, or that's cool. I don't know. I love my cats. My cats are big, adorable goofballs. Let's see. Exploring the village. While exploring the village, there is a chance for random encounters. I think we should have a table, or something. Well, we have this thing. For every house the PCs explore, there is a 33% chance it contains a stone defender. There we go. And then we say, for every 5 minutes the players explore the village, roll a d12. Consult the following chart to see what happens. All right. So I think on like a 1 through 6? On a 1 through 6, nothing happens. I'm just spitballing here. There might be better ways to do this, but we're just getting stuff done. We'll say a 7 through 8. Wait. On a 11 or 12, we'll have an ogre with the 2 bombers. On a 7 through 8, well, let's say a 7 through 10. On a 7 through 10, we'll say that corrupted gnome guards attack. Corrupted gnome corrupted gnomes attack. I like that idea. We need to find a stat block to use for these gnomes. Now, these gnomes might not have the potions, and they might not be throwing potions. They might just have normal weapons, like spears or something like that they could be attacking with, like butcher knives or something. So let's find, and so far we've been having some challenging encounters. The 2 ogres, the shambling mound is going to be kind of challenging. Once they fight the big baddie at the end, that'll be challenging. So what I want to do with these corrupted gnomes is I want to make them pretty easy. I don't want them to make them super hard. The question when the gnomes attack isn't can we defeat them, it's can we restrain them and somehow not have to kill them because we want to cure them. So let's find a stat block. It might just be the guard stat block. Let's go over to the monster manual. And there is a guard. There's an actual guard. And it's super easy. It's a CR 1/8, so I think that would work. And they have spears, which is a very common weapon, very easy to make. So let's just make them guards. And we'll say how many of these should attack. Let's just say 2d4. That's a lot. What if we make it 1d6? 1d6 corrupted gnomes attack. Use the guard stat block. There we go. Bam. So there is a chance that some corrupted gnomes just wielding spears will attack them as they're investigating the village. So I like that. All right, so I think we got some random encounters that kind of happen as they're exploring the village. And at a certain point, they're going to come upon the safe house. And I think even after they come upon the safe house, whenever they're exploring the village, they're going to have a chance for random encounters. So I think that works. All right. Let's see what we got going on over in the chat. The corrupted gnomes are building a pseudo lair for the Annis Hag to produce more corruptive ooze. Ooh, I like that. A big kettle. So let's skip to the end here, and let's get some ideas written down for the. We're calling him a corrupted ogre shaman Lair. There we go. I think what we want to say is the ogre shaman is has an underground lair near the gnome village where he is. What is he doing? He is brewing more black flecks. There we go. Because that's what the ogre shaman, and we'll say anise hag. We'll say per anise hag. Yeah, anise hag stat block. Has an underground lair near the gnome village where he is brewing more black flecks. I like it. Very, very good. So we got some. So now we got where he is located. And I kind of liked the idea that he's using the gnomes to like dig out this lair. So, and that gives us an explanation of where the other corrupted gnomes are. So the rest of the gnome villagers have been corrupted and are busy digging out more portions of the shaman's lair. There we go. I don't know to what extent we want to like build a huge massive lair. This might be as simple as like a little tunnel that they go into that comes into his main chamber where they'll like fight the oozes first and then fight him, and then maybe there are some like tunnels that lead on back farther into the lair, and that's where the other gnomes are. Because we've already had them go into this village. They're already going to be wandering through the village. They're already going to be fighting things. I don't necessarily want to create like a whole other big dungeon complex for two reasons. One, because it makes for a really long adventure. But two, we only got about a half hour longer in this live stream, and I want to get this done. So we're not gonna go too hog wild on this. I like that idea though, right there for that shaman lair. So let's see what other ideas we have here. So, plot twist. Swanmaster Flex says, plot twist, the black pudding and corruption is an ancient evil and is secretly controlling everything and attempts to escape. Yes, I like that idea. I'm just going to copy paste that. And we'll figure out what to do with that. Did that work? There we go. I don't know where to put that right now, but we're gonna write that down here, and then we'll figure out what to do with that. But that's an interesting idea. Corrupted gnomish guards should have the ooze slathered on their weapons. Yes, I agree. Let's go up and change that. Where was that? Exploring the village. Corrupted gnomish guards have black flecks slathered on their weapons. Any creature struck with them is subjected to the corrupted mechanic. There we go. See corruption mechanic section. There we go. There's my tech writer in me, making sure we have proper references throughout our documentation. Great. Good idea, Fierce. Thank you, sir. We Write Weird Stuff says gnome guards could use player classes and the gnome racial traits, or could just be from the NPC mobs at the back of the monster manual. Yep, I agree. I just picked the guard, and you're totally right, John. We could go to the player handbook and get the gnome racial features and stuff and apply them to the guard stat block. And we could bake that into our adventure. For time's sake, we're not going to do that exercise tonight, but you're totally right. That's totally, if we had more time, we could totally do that. If we had more time and I wasn't getting really, really tired, we would totally do that. That's what you would want to do. We'll want some corrupted gnomes with ranged weapons. You're totally right, because if they're only melees, it's not very interesting. So we'll say 1d6 corrupted gnomes attack. Use the guard stat block. Is there another besides guard? Is there some sort of archer or something back here that had scout? Scout. Because a scout has a short sword and a long bow. That's not a bad idea. We could just make, scouts. What if instead of using guards, that's what we'll do. Some of them are scouts that attack with long bows. All right, let's go back and change that. 1d6 corrupted gnomes attack. So we'll say that corrupted gnomes attack. We'll say 1d4 gnomes are guards and engage in melee combat. And then we'll just say 1d4 gnomes are scouts and attack with longbows. There you go. That you're right, John. That will make a much more interesting combat encounter than having them all be melees attacking up front. So there we go. That makes that more interesting. Thank you, sir. And Swammaster Flex says guards with spears, more like gnomes with toothpicks. Yeah, big toothpicks. Are they coordinated enough for that? Hurling potions requires much less brain power than using a bow effectively. Yeah, I don't think the black flecks are destroying their ability to use their bodies and stuff. I think they're just changing their mind and stuff. So I think they're still able to use weapons. And guards and scouts aren't super powerful. Anybody can just take a spear and stab it at people. We're not necessarily saying that they're experts at spears all of a sudden. They just have them and they're using them. So I think it's okay. This is cool because the gnomes have so much alchemy skill. They are perfectly positioned to brew tons of corruption. That is an awesome idea. So let's do this. We might actually change this. Instead of the gnome villagers digging out portions of the shaman's lair, there could be a whole bunch of chambers full of cauldrons, and the corrupted gnomes are busy working on brewing more corruption to spread throughout the forest and stuff. That's the idea we're going to go with. I like that idea a lot better than just digging out tunnels. This is what's cool about doing this interactively with you guys, because collectively we have a lot better ideas than I could probably come up with on my own. So let's see. The rest of the gnome villagers are in a series of chambers brewing more corruption. Brewing more corruption. There are shelves full of assorted ingredients and large black kettles set over fire pits. There we go. So usually what I would do, guys, is I would map out this sort of thing to have a good idea of this. I don't know that we're going to do that tonight. We just have some basic ideas here. But we got that going on. I think we need to start trying to wrap this up. So at some point, how are they going to get from... So they went to the safe house, they went to the garden, they fought the shambling mound. They're going to be fighting some random gnomes and ogres with gnome potion throwers. How do we get them from up in the village area down to the shaman lair. Like, how are they going to find the shaman lair? And we haven't incorporated this bronze scout yet at all, and we might not be able to get to that. But let's try to get everybody into the shaman lair. So if you got ideas for that, please let me know. And while you're thinking about that, I'll just check something here. Sweet. All right. How are we going to get them down into the shaman lair? I need your ideas, guys. I'm getting tired. Jose, what's going on, man? How you doing, buddy? Fierce Mushroom says they should build their lair near a river so they can dump the corruption into the river to spread it across the... Remember that we said that water is their like weakness and that water prevents corruption. So that won't work based upon the story that we've already created. Otherwise, yeah, that would be a great idea. Follow a scouting patrol or cause the gnomes to route and follow them. Yeah, I like that idea. Corrupted ogre shaman lair. So we'll say let's make a new thing here. Finding the ogre shaman. And then we'll say after getting the herbs from the garden, the PCs fight one more encounter during which the gnomes flee and lead the PCs back to the shaman, the ogre shaman lair. Now that's gonna work or it's not gonna work, right? Because they might not be able to flee effectively. So we might want to just make a DM note. If that doesn't work, find another way to another way to lead the heroes to the shaman lair. I mean, DMs have to think on their feet, right? So I don't think it's too much to ask to say, figure it out. But you're right. There's got to be a way. I mean, there's got to be a way for them to get there. I think that's a good way to do it. And this might be through investigation and other means. Because remember, when they investigated the safe house, Jennifer and Franklin told them that these giants arrived accompanied by massive piles of black ooze, right? So the heroes should know that they have to find these ogres. Well, they're going to find one of them, but they should know that they're trying to find them, potentially, and this black ooze. And they haven't found the big piles of black ooze yet. And so it's safe to say that they're going to be searching for a way to do that. So, anyway, that'll get them there. And once they're there, let's make there be 2 chambers. Let's have there be an outer chamber, and in that chamber is where they fight like the black ooze. And then after that chamber, that's when they actually come upon the ogre shaman who will attack them. So let's just do it that way. Let's call this the outer chamber. I'm just trying to get us finished up here because we're almost at midnight and I want to go to bed. So we're just gonna finish this bad boy off. Keep letting me know if you got ideas in the chat and stuff, but we're gonna try to get this bad boy going. So there is an outer chamber of the lair that contains 2 piles of black flecks. Use the... Now, were we going to use that one ooze?
There's a black pudding, which is pretty powerful. If we have 2 black puddings, that's pretty powerful. The gray ooze is much easier. There's an ochre jelly. That one looks better. Actually, the ochre jelly is probably better because then we can use about 2 or 3 of them against the players, and that will 450 XP. Let's see what kind of encounter that would be. How much was it? 450. So if we have 2 of those, that's a medium encounter. If we have 3 of them, that's a deadly encounter. It's not that deadly though. It's not like super deadly. We haven't had a whole bunch of super deadly. Let's just make it 2 of them. Let's make it 2 of them. And we're gonna change this. We're no longer gonna make it the black ooze. We're gonna call it the ochre jelly, which is on page 243. So let me change this up here. It's no longer gonna be a black pudding. We're gonna call it an ochre jelly. And page 243, it was a CR2 and 450 hit points. So there we go. I don't know. Let's just ochre jelly. This is black fleck piles per ochre jelly. There we go. So black fleck piles. Awesome. So down here in the black... Oh, so we had this thing here. Black flecks will be per ochre jelly with the following changes. I think that still works. I think all that still works. Let's get... I don't think we need that anymore. We got some of this stuff that does damage to it. There is an outer chamber of the lair that contains 2 piles of black flecks. Use the ochre jelly stats. And then I imagine these black flecks are going to attack when they come in there. I don't know why they wouldn't. That's what they do. They want to attack and they want to corrupt people. Piles attack living creatures on sight. There we go. And I'll get to your guys' chat. I see you got some ideas over there. I'll get to that in a second. There needs to be an inner chamber. This chamber contains the ogre shaman, the corrupted ogre shaman. He is, I mean, I don't know. He's probably brewing some more corruption in a black kettle or something. He might not attack on sight. He's a little bit more intelligent, so we might not have him attack on sight. Let's do some role playing notes. The ogre shaman doesn't attack on sight. He converses first in giant. I mean, ogres speak common. That's fine. He converses first with the heroes and tries to talk them into drinking the corrupted potions he's brewing. I mean, here's the thing. We can try to have some talky talk going on. Ultimately, the players are just going to attack, more than likely. They might try to uncorrupt the ogre. I don't know. But whenever there's an opportunity to not to have monsters just attack on sight, I try to take advantage of it. This might be a stretch. They're obviously not going to drink any of these potions, so that's kind of like a foolish pursuit. But we know that. The ogre doesn't know that. The ogre might just want to try to corrupt people, and here you go, drink these potions. And it's going to turn into a fight. More than likely, would be my guess. So the ogre shaman, and then we're going to say use Annis Hag stats. There we go. And it's going to turn into a fight, I'm sure. I'm kind of running out of steam here. We need to have some sort of resolution here to this. How do we wrap this up? So they're probably... Oh, you know what? We need to have, like... Let's call this, like, you know... no, it's... I think we said here... Yeah. Outer chamber, inner chamber, and then we'll say other chambers. Other chambers. This is the series of... These are the chambers where the rest of the gnomish villagers, the corrupted gnomish villagers, are brewing more corruption. I don't know what that means. I'm getting so tired, guys. I'm not thinking clearly. My creativity has like stalled at this point. So I feel like we have a really good start to all of this, and we have some really good ideas, but like I feel like we're just kind of petering out at the end of this just because it's getting so late. But we had a pretty large task in front of us to create an adventure collaboratively from scratch in like 4 hours is what we're coming down to. So I think we're doing pretty well. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. There's the possibility of using skills, following tracks, stealth following, interrogating a cured dude. Yes, you are right. You are absolutely right, Swan Master Flex. Let's put that up there. If this doesn't work, there are other ways to find. There might be through investigation, other means, such as. I'm glad you're thinking a lot more clearly than I am, and giving me good ideas. Stealth following, patrols, interrogating a cured gnome, etc. There we go. Excellent. Love it. Good job. Thank you. The black flecks should drop from the ceiling on top of the first party member to enter the outer chamber. Yes. Yes. Thank you. That's a great idea. Two piles of black flecks that are clinging to the ceiling. The black flecks drop on the first living creatures to walk underneath them. Awesome. Great. That's a great way to kick off combat. You're walking into a chamber and you're like doo-doo-doo, and then these things like drop on you and attack you. I love it. Great idea, man. Great idea. Let's see what we got going on here. The ogre shaman should hurl handfuls of ooze. Players should make will saves versus the ogre shaman invitation to drink potions based on their level of corruption. That's a good idea, man. And there's another thing here. Swan Master Flex says his final action should be to tip over the cauldron and be covered in the black ooze from his giant cauldron to be phase 2 of the boss covered in ooze armor. That's a great idea. Or whatever. I don't know. We may need a part 2. Post-fight, the players find large pits filled with assorted loot from adventures consumed by the ooze. West Coast still early here. Yeah. You're like, I think it's only about 9 o'clock for you. It's midnight for me, and I am flagging. Flagging? Is that the word? I'm getting tired. So we might need a part 2. I don't know if we're gonna build a. What we might do, guys, is let's do this. I'm tired. It's midnight for me, guys. I do not feel that we have done this adventure justice quite yet. I think we have tons of awesome ideas and stuff, and if we just finished it right now, I feel like
we have a great, awesome adventure up to like 2/3 of the way through, and this last end of it is just kind of like, I don't feel it, right? I don't think that we've really hit this off with a really good success. So I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna copy paste these your guys' last comments here, because I think you got some good ideas, and we're gonna do a part 2. Let's try to do this next Friday, and what we'll do is we'll do a part 2 where we come back and we just finish this off fresh, so that we got some really good ideas and we can finish this off fresh, and then we might have a question and answer or something too, because it's probably not going to take us too super long to finish this off. But I want to do this justice, and I want to make this really good. So we're going to have a part 2 next Friday for sure. And then we got some more comments here. Swammaster Flex says, I'd start from the beginning and do polish and fill in for a part 2. I agree. I agree with you, dude. I think we should do that. I think we got a lot of really good ideas, and some of this stuff is fleshed out. Other things aren't super fleshed out. And so we'll do that. And probably what I'll do is offline, I might just poke at it a little bit too. I might do some map making as well. That's a good idea. I might do some map making offline so that we have some maps to reference and stuff too. But that'll give us... It takes a little bit away from the collaborative nature of it, where we're like working together and stuff. But it might work. I don't know. But I think we'll do a part 2. Cool. Awesome. Fierce. Step by step from the intro. Yeah, I like that idea, Swanflex. Just kind of walk through it and kind of flesh it out a little bit more. That probably is a good way to go. And then we'll be able to get the end of it fleshed out a little bit better. So yeah, the polish can be collaborative. I agree with you. So I'm gonna copy paste some of your guys' comments here that I thought were good here, and I'm gonna put this over here, and we're gonna make this a comment right here. There we go. Add that in there, and I'm gonna save this. And all right, guys, that's what we're gonna plan on doing. Next Friday, it'll be 8 o'clock Eastern time. We'll get back on and do a live stream, and we will finish this bad boy off. We'll add some polish to it. We'll walk through it, and we'll finish this boss fight off at the end of it and make it something really cool. So we probably were I was probably very ambitious, thinking that we would get through all of this in 4 hours. We got through a lot of it. We have a really, really good base. I think it just needs some polish to make it really pop. So yeah, we'll do it justice, and we'll get together next week. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. This was a lot of fun. I hope to see most of you, all of you, back next week too, so that we can continue this same conversation on and whatnot. So lots of fun, guys. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. And I don't think there's anything else I need to say. So hope to see you next time. And what's my normal ending? Until next time, let's play D&D.